Hello and good evening, everybody. It's time to visit Mexico City for the 13th round of Formula Sprint 1 action here in GPVWC. My name is Eoin Harmon, and I'm delighted to have a replacement here for Amir due to connection issues. It's Carlos Martin. So, Carlos, nice to meet you properly. How are you keeping?
Yeah, so good so far. Excited for this race and very very packed of action. And also we need to keep an eye on the weather because, as you can see, it's fairly cloudy and some rain chances are in the horizon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Carlos. The meteorologists have been hinting towards possible rain showers here around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. So the ability for someone else to perhaps take their opportunity and take a surprise victory, certainly not impossible. But the narrative, Pavel Andrzejewski did the maths for us today, and he confirms that if Multiforce can collect 55 more points than Team Apex GP, if they outscore them by 55 points and they outscore Team Sheba by 43 points in tonight's action, then they will become the team's champions for the second year in a row. So yeah, the lead is over 200 points for Multiforce, and if they can increase that lead with perhaps 3 or 4 of the podiums on show in the 2 races, then yeah, they have a great chance of seeing the title with 3 rounds to spare. And of course, qualifying well underway at this stage, and we have our first times on the board. And Matthews Micah there, Carlos, has set the timing boards alike, getting into the 1 minute 19s.
Yeah, that's a really fast lap time by Mateusz Majka with a 2:10 gap over P2. That's definitely a really, really good lap by the Polish driver. And we'll see how the rest of the people react, because the gap seemed fairly big. Placing a lap here in Mexico is not easy. There are quite so many walls, and you need to put under pressure the car on the braking and in steering. And corners are very slow, so you need the pretty high downforce setup for these kind of track, because even though there is a very long straight, the corners are fairly slow, so downforce is very much appreciated. As we see right now, Oliver Taras heading into the stadium section. The first corner on the right, you want to be very slim on the steering, and then here at the end you want to take this inside curve and then push the throttle soon. And here in qualifying you will try to close up as much to the right. He opened up too much to the left. Normally you close on the right, and Oliver Taras just sets a 1:22.0, which is not a very competitive lap time. As we see, Thailand, I think he has broken something in the car. Ooh, and it's crossing in a very interesting way. Let's put it this together. I think the regulation is very clear with this kind of crossing and going reverse on track.
Yeah, it's absolutely forbidden to be reversing on a live circuit. And I suppose he will claim, yeah, I did escape into the pits while I was in pit lane, so that would be perhaps covered by the telepit rules. But here's a moment to look at a Hyperion driver for a moment. It's Tina Curtis, who's stepping in tonight. She is driving the number 46. It's usually Matthews Dabrowski's car, but she's taking it over today, so we'll see how she gets on. 1 minute 22.3 there. That puts her 21st out of 22 valid times. And yeah, a talking point here is the 24 out of possible 30 drivers in attendance. So perhaps this is a heavy week for a lot of people, or else the ability to find a replacement driver is proving difficult, or else someone has just walked away wanting to move on to something else. So yeah, we won't get to see the jam-packed grid like we usually do. But yeah, points will still be fully on offer from 1st to 15th. The Menno Klant winner at the Nürburgring. Sadly, one of those races I missed out on due to my football commitments. But yeah, you were there, Carlos, and that was one hell of an ending. So Menno Klant P5 at the minute.
Yeah, that was an insane ending. And we can see the lap times are slowly improving. We can see Michael Falkenhayn just setting a P3 good enough lap time. We can see here some drivers maybe being more aggressive on the curbs, maybe being less aggressive on the curbs, depending on how you set up the car. We see Menno is not fully using the track on the right. I think there is more track to use. Here you want to be super tight and super early on the power. Yeah, just pushing the car out into that curve, and then here just using the full track as much as you can. And we need to remind to the spectators that track limits are manual, so everyone is keeping an eye on everyone, just making sure they don't exceed the track limits. Doesn't look like it's the best lap from Menno right now, but it's fairly close to the lap time he just set in the previous attempt. So maybe if he's not improving enough, he just aborts the attempt. It will be depending on how his last sector is. As we can see, he's just going back to the pit lane, and the same does Mateusz Majka. Jasz Latinen just said the first, a great first sector, but it didn't look like a great ending for him of the lap. And we can see that he was 2.5 tenths faster in sector 1, and that's because he has the highest top speed from the whole field. He's 3.5 kph faster than everybody else. And Paweł Andrzejewski is actually improving his lap time, and not only his lap time, also Mateusz Majka lap time, but not good enough. So it's going to be in P2.
Yeah, nearly there, Carlos. But yeah, a debate was certainly had among the drivers about how they should approach their setup, because as you've been discussing, there are some low-speed corners which will require a lot of downforce, but you don't want to have too much of it, meaning you'd be totally exposed on the straights and push the pass. You barely just need a drip of it in order to make it work. But 01 Esports, we have Victor Bernat just heading into pit lane, but let's discuss both those cars, because Michael Falkenhayn has soared to the second row of the grid there with a splendid 1 minute 20.0, and here he is on his next outlap. So 01 Esports are a team in bottom third of the championship, hoping to get beyond 70 points today, and they get them in the fight to perhaps overtake MS Performance in 10th, or certainly Hyperion, their closest rivals, in P11 there. So it's all still to play for, and the fact that we have vacancies on the grid automatically, Carlos, it means these teams at the back of the grid perhaps have a chance to get a bumper haul of points. So with Michael here, P3, and hoping to improve even more, this is massive for 01 Esports.
Yeah, this is massive, and 01 Esports is one of the teams that went for the super high downforce approach. They have 286 kph, while we see Patrick Roszak, also one of the drivers who have been super fast this mid-season, and he goes to P3, fairly close to Mateusz Majka and Paweł Andrzejewski, maybe one of the best options to challenge them. And as I was mentioning, Michael Falkenhayn has 286 top speed, whereas, for example, Roszak or Latin, and they are almost stopping 298. So there is a 12 kph discrepancy between both teams. Well, all the three drivers, better said. And yeah, this can be huge, because for the race you normally prefer a lower downforce configuration if you can keep the tires on check. And this track is really hard on the tires, even it doesn't look like.
Yeah, the data for this track hasn't been updated since its last appearance in FS1 and beyond in GPV since 2022. So looked back at the stats, and race 1, it was Eoin McGaughey who I think challenged Tom Stevens that day. They had 2 stops between them. So yeah, Eoin defeated Tom on a 2-stop strategy, which is unprecedented for the current configuration of cars here in FS1, but they made it work. Back then in 2022, I was still on my Super League tweeting duties back then, so I didn't get to watch the race at the time. I know I probably should have, but yeah, that's the way it goes. So the fact that it was a 2-stopper that actually worked, that would be absolutely extraordinary if that's still relevant here in 2025, Carlos. So let's see if anyone is thinking about it.
Maybe the regulations were a bit different back then. It's hard to tell, but I think it will still be a 1-stop, but we will see how everything develops. A lot of saving probably. So we see Saracino currently in P5, improving sector 1, and we'll see he's also improving sector 2, but he's about 4 tenths off. So this will place him between P4 and what his currently position is, P5, sliding a bit at the exit of the stadium. I don't think it's just the best approach. As we can see, he's just braking and deciding to board, crossing the white line. But yeah, I mean, it's still good enough to just go to the pit lane. And we can see here Pavel just improving sector 1 by 7 thousandths over Mateusz Majka, also improving his own personal best in sector 1, but not a great sector 2. So yeah. And Victor Bernat just jumped to P5 for 01 Esports. Yeah, this shows that the high downforce approach is a really valid approach to go.
Yeah, certainly in qualifying in the private capacity here, with everyone invisible to everyone else on circuit, while everyone can enter at the same time if they choose. There's no risk of slipstreaming, so it could be a different story entirely come the race when everyone shares the track as normal. But Philip Koenig for Griffon, it's been a very, very tough season for Griffon. Only 46 points for them in this campaign. They were more successful with Shimon Frelich and company last season. So Philip stays 15th with that 1 minute 20.5. So he will know that the likes of LEF with Davide Zanini and Alex Gonzalez Green, he's got them both behind him at the moment, but and they've got the slipstream battles to come in the race, Carlos, then yeah, definitely teamwork could be very, very important.
Yeah, teamwork here, especially at the before turn 1, you really need to get a slipstream. This is one of these races that maybe starting on P1 it's not great. It's not great at all. But I'd rather start P1 than starting P5, let's say. You always rather start at the front, and then you will feel confident enough, you can recover the positions. Unless you are the magnificent Yao Taiyan that you can start P27 and make it all the way, as we have seen in Super League this year, and almost he managed to do it a pair of times. So yeah, let's see. All the drivers have opportunities, and we can see that many of them with these top speed discrepancies, we are guaranteed a nice show. So we see Massimiliano Rivoli improving for a P16, just a 1 position improvement. And I'm very surprised by the gaps, to be honest. We can see Mateusz Majka just being 3/10 ahead of everyone else. This is almost as unprecedented as Monza, because at Monza we had a very similar case as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Carlos. It's one of the most one-sided grids of the whole campaign. I know we were treated to some absolutely wonderful sessions early on in the season when everyone is fresh and ready to go. Everyone is dying to find the extra 10th of a second, but now we're getting into the late game, so the quality on show here from Autoforce, knowing they could wrap up the Teams Championship at the earliest, certainly one of the earliest possible opportunities I've come across in GPVWC, to get that out of the way, meaning that they can then concentrate 100% on their driver battle, become the one and only drivers champion for the season, and they will do very well to seal that team championship and let them focus on that. So there'll be no team orders. I'm sure Yassi Latinen there in between the two protagonists there from Autoforce. That's crucial for his ambitions to win the title. He's 69 points back on Mateusz Majka, so that is certainly attainable if he can pick up victories now to the end of the season. And here's Nexium Pole Team, the thumbnail heroes for today, with Patrick Roszak behind the wheel of the first car, and then we've Mateusz Gozowski as his teammate. So checkered flag is now out, so Patrick Roszak will have to take whatever he gets here. Oh, it's a PB, but not enough to improve, I'm afraid, Carlos. Let's see if anyone else has something up their sleeve.
Yeah, Saracino is improving a lot, although the exit is not great. He's looking for a P2, maybe a P3 here, and he closes the lap, and oh, boy, he lost so much in Sector 3, yeah. Just the last sector, the traction was not the greatest, and we can see Jesse Latinen also going purple in Sector 1, also matching his PB that he had in Sector 1. And you will see now just taking as much care as you can. You need to go here soon on the left to do this section as fast as you can. Not entirely sure if he kept it within the track limits, but the Finnish driver will keep going here. He's also improving in his Sector 2, just doing a great enter to the stadium. Oh, and he locks the rear, and I think this is going to be game over for the Finnish driver. I'm not entirely sure how much he will improve now, but he's keeping going. He will finish the lap, as we see Frank Hamming just going into P2, and yeah, the Finnish driver was not happy with this. And what a surprise, Frank Hamming in P2.
Yeah, we say week after week, Frank Hamming in positions 8 through 12. That's his most common spot. But to get a front row start when he is one of the racers, the fact that he could win a race one after such a brilliant qualifying session, that'll give him a huge confidence boost here, Carlos. So, yeah, let's run down the order of our 24 entrants here in qualifying. So, Matthews Micah celebrating with pole position there, but that's only part one of today's work. Frank Hamming, though, here's his chance. He's been a race 2 master. We love watching him climb up the order, but today, with the fabulous start-finish straight, he has a chance from P2. Yassi Latinen still has dreams of winning this Drivers' Championship. He's in 3rd. Pavel Andrzejewski down in 4th, so that could be crucial. The top 10 is Patrick Roszak, then the 0-1s of Falkenhayn and Bernat, 8th place for Sarcino, and then 9th and 10th, Tylene and Clont. The rest of the drivers that have a shot at points, we have Wesley Stefano, Raymond Van Soest, Scott Flack, Matthews Kozowski, Tin Lure, and Massimilian Roboli in the top 15. Philip Koenig, Alexander Gonzalez Green, Davide Zanini, and Tina Curtis there complete the 16th through 19th, I think that is. So mix up there, some must have backed out, but we'll correct that as the formation lap begins. And our final drivers have set times as follows: Mika Hakimi for Team Iris in 20th, Terence Gresh for HGP, it's a new teammate for Frank today, he's 21st, Oliver Taras in 22nd, and Eric Brenna in the 100 to 1 lines up 23rd. So yeah, we did have to bid farewell to Owen Hausvik. He gave a very comprehensive interview before he decided to get on with his personal life and his studies. So we will certainly miss Owen's contributions to the series, but yeah, certainly 100 to 1. We'll be delighted to have had him. We'll see how they get on with Eric tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting one. I think even maybe P3 is a better starting position than P2 in this very particular track. We will see how the strats go, because we have mentioned it. This is a very long race, just as long as Hungarian was, 35 laps. And we will need to see when the drivers are actually pitting. Of course, the undercut has a really, really great value here. But then you will struggle to get until the end of the race. So there is a drawback for the undercut. It's not going to really be like a clear decision. The other easy-going thing for the defender drivers is that there is not really 2 zones where you can use the push to pass. I think after turn 4 it's generally very difficult to overtake on this track. You need a lot of downforce, so you get washed out from the car in front. And into turn 5 it generally gets very into turn 4, it gets very difficult. So yeah, there is really one big zone, but for the attackers, the good thing is that it is so long that if you press the push to pass every lap there, you will run out of P2P very, very, very soon. So yeah, for the first time, some P2P management will be required in Formula Spin 1.
Absolutely, Carlos. So yeah, definitely the balance between performance and conservation will play a massive part here in Mexico City. And certainly the quality has risen to the top as expected in qualifying, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a one-sided affair necessarily. Definitely the track lends itself to a lot of fighting and a lot of competition. I suppose a lot of these drivers might not have been around in 2022, certainly in FS1 anyway, been in other parts of the series when this track was previously on the calendar, so we'll see how they all get on. But yeah, as per the tradition for this season, we're going to talk about the team featured in our thumbnail, and that is Nexium Pole Team in their black and gold car. So the Nexium Pole Team kind of been in the shadows a little bit, and they have been capable of podiums and great results. 3rd places and 2nd for Patrick Roszak, the highlight of the campaign, but he hasn't quite found the victory. And then indeed in Turkey race 2, Mateusz Gazowski picked up a 3rd place as well. So that was the peak of Nexium Pole Team's campaign. But ever since the Germany-Belgium double for Patrick, I haven't seen the best of him as I was absent for those rounds. So they will hope there's one chance perhaps to pick up a victory before the year is out. But yeah, P6 in the standings with 253 points. They should be pretty confident they can round that up and beat Overpower to that position. And Pixelate would need a huge turnaround to catch them at this stage. So what do you think of Nexium so far this season, Carlos?
Well, I actually think Patrick was a bit unlucky through the season. He has had a fairly bit of incidents with different drivers, which just took him some possibilities of good results for him. Of course, being the shining star for his team. I think they are in a good position to keep improving. I don't think that the team is yet ready to go higher up than Formula Spring 1, at least yet. They have the potential to be further up, but I think considering everything, they have had a fairly strong position. Guzowski has not been in the up there with Patrick, but Patrick, I think, has the potential to be a contender here in Formula Sprint 1. And when you have a contender next to you, you naturally step up your own level as well. So I could foresee being a very, very, very serious contender for next season.
Yeah, without a doubt. So just to give Patrick his props, those 0 points earlier in the campaign were due to absence. Don't worry, he didn't have a nightmare performance at Canada or Great Britain. He just couldn't turn up. So we will definitely make that clear. So Patrick has been the team leader there with 177 of the team's points this season. So yeah, he has been one of the unsung heroes, I think, but he definitely has his chances to show his quality. And a very good qualifying performance today has definitely helped his case. So Apex GP know the team's championship. They need to beat Multiforce, I think, on merit today, just to perhaps let it go one more round. Because yeah, in all honesty, it's Singapore. I would suspect that the team's championship will be over if Multiforce pick up an average of about 20-25 points between the drivers. So I think Apex just need to pick this moment to shine and maybe force Matthews and Pavel to have a double anxiety in terms of the championships. But they know they've been an amazing team this year, so Multiforce should leave with both titles. If we're being perfectly honest, it just depends which one of the drivers will be successful with that gap at just 15 points. But the swing, dramatic, the swings have been dramatic, I should say, swings plural, particularly not too long ago in Hungary there, with Pavel picking up a lot of points at his teammates' expense when it looked like the summer had gone Matthews's way. But yeah, Yassi Latinen is perhaps the only other driver who has a realistic shot. Giuseppe Saracino has to win every single race, I think, just to stand any fraction of a hope.
I mean, there are a lot of points that are given here in Formula Spring 1, considering you have race 1 and race 2. And if you have a really bad, let's say, Singapore race 1 where you have a DNF, and then in race 2 you need to start at the back because of this, yeah, it could be really, really, really bad, because there are chances for people taking points from you. Maybe not 45 points, because overtaking is very difficult, but to take 30 or 33 points, it is a big amount. And when you take this amount from two people who are fighting each other, you remember Formula 1 2007, Alonso
you better believe it,
and Hamilton fighting each other, and who ended up winning? A Finnish driver. So
exactly,
P3, there is a Finnish driver who has had not the best start of the season like Kimi Raikkonen had back in the day, and then there are some shining moments, and then the good thing, the difference between Mateusz Majka, Paweł Andrzejewski and Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton is that they get along each other very well. So I think that if they sense like there is a danger coming from behind. I think they will just use the maximum of their brain capacities to say, okay, it's better that one of us takes it than someone else. But of course, the possibility is there. Considering they are fairly close to each other, something will need to happen. And Yasser today is in a great position to take some good points, and of course, he is on the back foot.
Yeah, a little bit on the back foot, starting in fourth today in race one. That will be difficult to overcome, but certainly realistic as well. We know how good Pavel is, can be. We know last season had chances to win, and they were just cruelly denied due through either the quality of the driver in front of him, or else maybe a mistake or an incident that cost him the chance to pick up a victory. As that hoodoo well and truly sorted now. He got that win at Melbourne back in March, just to let him lead the championship at the end of round one. But ever since, some of those difficult races in the summertime has been hard on him. But yeah, the fact that he used to drive for the Parallax Volpino team, now that he's with Multiforce, he has the winning team behind him, and he has confidence in him, in his ability. But of course, he will hold up his hand and say, yeah, that didn't go well, or I have to apologize for my mistake. So he does have that champions mentality, I think. Even if maybe it's not his year, he does have that attitude beside his teammate. Say, I'm going to do whatever I can to win the title, but I'll keep it clean with Matthews, and we'll have a good, honest fight for the title rather than making it anything bitter and personal. So yeah, that's what I love to see, and whoever wins the title this year, I think, really, really deserves it.
Of course, anyone who wins the title generally deserves
Literally.
it. There is, I mean, because why? It takes at least one race win. I don't think I ever seen a champion who didn't take in a long championship. Let's not mention 6 race championships or something like that. But in a long championship like his GPV, I couldn't imagine a non-race winner to take the championship. Right? As we see, wow. Multiforce is sparking pretty heavy. They are dragging the car around around the straight. As we see, Pavel just losing the car. Of course, whoever wins the championship deserves it. To be a race winner doesn't automatically qualify to be a champion, but definitely helps you to get up there, right? You cannot be someone who finished generally P4, P5 every race and not a podium and not a race win. So you've done at least merits to be the best at least one race. So that qualifies you, I think, to be a possible contender if you keep the consistency, right? So yeah, anyone who takes it, there are arguments for everyone. Of course, there are stronger and there are weaker arguments to say who is more deserving. But I think anyone that is in the fight right now actually could deserve. Of course, the stronger arguments are Pavel and Mateusz. But yeah, you could do a case for almost anyone at the top.
Of course, yeah, I agree with that, Carlos. So, checkered flag well and truly out now for the warm-up session. Michael Falcone delivering the best time of 1 minute 19.891, which is roughly the qualifying pace. So that tells me he's definitely thinking about tweaking the car on a lighter fuel load for later in the race. So he's hopefully got the intel he needs. Say again? Oh, no, it wouldn't be refueling now, but as the race goes on, as fuel goes down. Sorry.
Yeah, it's weird, right? That he was just testing qualifying in the warm-up.
Yeah. That is unusual. So we will find out what that plot is for Michael, as of course everyone needs to fill up the tank to capacity without refueling. So definitely much quicker time for Michael just to seal that top spot ahead of Oliver Taras, and then the title contenders Pavel, Patrick and Matthews there. So not too shabby. And Wesley Stefano getting the 6th place there. So race control are now summoning all our drivers to the pit, or from the pit to the grid. So shouldn't be too much longer until the formation lap begins. And yeah, the weather, it looks to be brightened up a little bit, Carlos. So
Yes.
maybe the wet weather might play a factor in a little while, but not straight away.
This time the API, for me, it's surviving. I don't know if you watched the last SL2 race. My API died like in lap 18 or lap 20 because I was refreshing like crazy. It was an absolutely crazy race. I'm checking right now, and it looks like there's not going to be rain in the next 120 minutes, at least. But in my second screen, I will have a radar just to see if the rain is actually any close to the track. So if it's any close, you know, the wind might change and then you have some raindrops.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, but not enough really to play a massive factor. Certainly FS1, I recall definitely Ed Hunter made the point that I think the 2023 campaign had no wet races. It was either that one or last season. So the rain tends to stay away on the second Thursday of a month, which is the FS1 time. So that is currently looking like the reality. But I believe Oliver Taras, he's just said in YouTube chat, the first challenge, chaps. So I believe there are some grid penalties that just need to be double checked by the race control. So we will get underway in a matter of moments, Carlos. So we will see who can overcome penalties from the last round. It was definitely a hectic race at Monza after the summer break ended.
Yeah, I actually, some of my Intel people just told me that Oliver Taras, by mistake in the qualified with race fuel, and that's why he's starting so further back. So yeah, that's an unusual mistake, I would say. Yeah, so he will need to make up for it, definitely. As we will see now, the grid just launching for doing their own warm-up lap. And starting in pole position will be Mateusz Majka, championship leader. In the second position will be Frank Hamming, surprising qualifying position for him, for the Dutch driver. Third position, Jesse Latinen. Fourth position, Pavel Andrzejewski. Patrick Rocher, P5, Michael Falkenhayn, P6, Victor Bernat, P7, Giuseppe Sorrentino, P8. Lucas Styling just making the fifth row, the KKR Esports one, with Menoclon just right behind him. Wesley Stefano starting on P11, and P12, I just missed who it was. Sorry for that.
Yeah, Scott
Flack, sorry. Mateusz Gusowski, P13. For P14, this is going just too fast for me, Remco. Just slow down. We know you're a fast boy. Gusowski, P14, Lauer, P15, Rivoli, P16, Koenig, P17, Gonzalez, P18, Zanini, P19, Tino Curtis, P20, Terence Gray, Igrich, P21, Raymond Benzos, P22, Eric Brenna, P23, Oliver Taras, P24.
Yeah, Mika Hakimi, he's in 20th for Team Irish, so he got pushed up a position. So
pushed up, I was checking the results from the qualifying because everything was so fast, so I just wanted to talk about KKR Esports with Menno and Lucas Styling. So, Eoin, what's your bet for today's race win?
I'll take a gamble, and I'll say, I'd say, Patrick. I'll go for Patrick Roshak. I'll take a big risk.
Ooh, Roshak. I'll go.
It's his time.
Hamming. I'll go Hamming.
Yeah, I like that bet.
I believe in the power of Hamming.
Yeah, many people will certainly back the Dutchman's. Let's see if that comes to reality. Let's have the experience here. So he is one of the drivers that has the know-how from the 2022 era of cars. Oliver Taras, last to first challenge. It's going to be a very, very brave effort if he can do it, especially with the team's title on the line, with Malta first dominant, but they can just wrap it up for definite if they beat them by 55 points, and Team Sheep as well. So here come the light, ready to go in Mexico. Let's get it on. Oh, that's a fantastic launch from Matthews. That is splendid work there. He's well away, and that means it's neck and neck. Yassi, and Frank getting side by side. But look for the slipstream of those guys on row 2 and 3. There's my man Patrick on the right-hand side of the driver's point of view, and he's going for the inside line against Hamming. Can he make it stick? No, he won't. He's backed off, and Yassi has to react, and that looked like Falkenhayn or Stefano, one of those drivers there. Maybe was, yeah, or else it was, yeah, might have been Stefano. Yeah, he's kind of struggling. So yeah, there he is, picking it up now, side by side into the left-hander. Gotta stay nice and polite at this stage. No 3 wides here, please. It's too narrow. So remarkable start there. Thailand up from 9th to 6th. That's brilliant work there from the Super Swede.
Yeah, this has have been a really crazy race start. We can see Rosiak now third, charging maybe for a second place, and there has been, as we've seen, Stefano just missing the turn 2, and yeah, at least he rejoined it in a safe manner. He had to lift down to give some positions back, and we'll see how now the race develops, because we have spoken about this. The tires actually need to save quite some tires, and there is big discrepancies in top speed. I am not entirely sure the Hamming top speed, but we know that 0-1, Falkenhayn and Bernardo, they will struggle with this, and we can see Jasse closing up a bit, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. It will go defensive Rosha, but I don't think Jasse wants to attack him. He wants to make sure he keeps on the train, opens up really good for turn 2, takes a bit of the orange sausage, going very wide Rosha, and that is one of the track limits that you have available to use on now until the end of the race. So yeah, Jasse now just applying the pressure on Rosiak, and if Rosiak keeps struggling like this, I think we will see a move from Jasse very soon, as he's super close to the Polish driver.
Yeah, there's barely a car's width between them at this stage yet. Lots of runoff there to use in the sweepers. Let's see now how they compare. But Matthews has broken clear there in the intervals, 1.4 seconds to the good there. Patrick Rosiak half a second behind in P3. So these cars competing from second down to about 8th place or 9th place even, with Menno Clont quickest in the first split. They will all be very competitive for the time being anyway. And then that completes the second lap, so everybody should be bedded in. They should know how their tires are behaving, how their top speed compares when they're on their own or else in a slipstream. And we're going to see Yassi just holding back for now. Maybe he'll spit one down the inside at a rapid pace, but no, it's far too early in his opinion to be doing that, so he will just follow the car in front. There's a battle here for championship points. Lorenzo Etervich should be watching with curiosity and hope that Mika Hakimi for Team Iris will let his driver through. So it's going to be last of the late breakers, Carlos. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, they're heading here on. There is crazy battles behind. We could see also Oliver Torres, and Hakimi squeezes out. Oh, as we see a spin.
Lower.
Yeah, turn lower is spin just right in front of his teammate Mika Hakimi. And yeah, it's losing so many positions. The grass is very slippery, and trying to come back is a big pain for the drivers. And now it looks like there is some damage on the car, because doesn't look all right. At least we could see that the car was not steering completely well. At least it was understeering, and we see another track limits for turn, and we can see how he lifted, and then I think the DC will be fine with him lifting. And yeah, I think this car might have a bit of a struggle from now on until the end of the race, or maybe it's just the tires being a bit too hot right now.
Yeah, that could be it. Once you've made a mistake like that and the tire temperatures spike dramatically, that is a big obstacle to overcome. But Alex Gonzalez-Green won't mind that. He's going to try and make the pass on Hakimi at the second attempt. Not to be this time. And yeah, this is important though for LEF to try and consolidate 14th in the team championship, and maybe aim a bit higher than that towards the end of the campaign. It will be a long way. Of course, Team Iris is the 13th team in the championship on 65 points. LEF 9 points worse off on 56. So yeah, these have even more stakes than you'd imagine. And yeah, 2-1 in favor of Mika so far. Oh, a bit wide there from the Team Irish competitor, and as Gonzalez Green needs to balance. Oh, you can just see a little step out there, Carlos. And Massimiliano Riboli, he's coming thick and fast. He wants to make his own overtake to get a championship point.
Yeah, they are on the softer compound, which has a huge advantage right now. And we have missed that Davide Zanini is just DNF'd. I think it was a disconnection from the ILEF driver. We'll see how it evolves now. We can see Massimiliano Rivoli being very close, and we can see now the drivers ahead pulling and just creating a gap. This might be because of this downforce discrepancy, and now we will see Gonzalez just going for the outside into turn 1. They still go side by side, and they have contact again into turn 2 and 3, and Gonzalez is just forced off track as consequence of this. Kim is not making it easy by any means, and this is just translating, and we see now Taras just going for the dive on Rivoli, and they are just going side by side into this very tight section, and Rivoli concedes. So right now Taras is P16.
So made up about 7 positions so far on his journey to try and keep himself on the right side of certainly he's had a tough recently, but yeah, he knows that the team championship is at stake to try and remain in the race for as long as possible. But at the moment, it's going to be a big haul of points once again from Malta with the victory and a 5th place. So Pavel in the struggle to get through the first lap. He's down to P5 now after starting in 4th. So yeah, this will be a significant increase in the
is
points.
very close to Roshak right now.
Yes.
This is just applying the pressure. Clearly, Latinen has way more pace than Roshak, who extends the track once again. Yeah, the gap with Hamming and Micah is huge. 3 seconds in a 6-lap span is just half a second a lap. That's really big, and Yasid just needs to find his spot, because here he will not have a great chances to win the race if he's aiming for it. And same goes for Pavel. Pavel is also very close to the Finnish driver. If they want just to contest for this race win, they need to start climbing up, and the field looks like Hamming doesn't really have the pace. Another track excursion from Patrick Rojak, and I've counted 3 at least since we were watching, and he's not very far away for, starting to get some seconds of penalty.
Yeah, race control will definitely throw the hammer down and say, yeah, you're cutting too many corners and going off the design track limit. So yeah, you will be taking a penalty for that. Not concerned just yet, but here's a great chance now for Yassi to make this overtaking, get onto the podium against Nexium Paul Team's Patrick Roshak. 10th place in the championship for Patrick, and he wants to do everything he can to seal another podium. And of course, he is winless in this campaign. He does have several podiums despite that fact, but at the moment, yeah, it's more about the defensive duties for Patrick rather than being able to aim a bit higher. But now Taras has the 15th position, worth 1 point. That breaks Lorenzo's heart even more harshly now. So that's a 0 score after Davide's disconnection. But it's not over yet, of course, still ways to go. And Eric Brenna has entered the pit lane for 100 to 1 very early. So that may be a case of getting onto the hard tyre and just tiptoeing to the end, hoping that other drivers will burn up their tyres too much. And everyone following the leader through the S's now. Oh yeah, look at Pavel. Carlos, what did you see?
Yeah, they're taking very different racing lines, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a surprise overtaking spot for Pavel in the future. They do very differently, and Yasse exposes himself a lot, as we will see now. Maybe an attack from Yasse to Rojek. Again, he's closing up on the Polish driver. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. We'll try to get off the slipstream late. He does do it, but Rojek reacts to that and defends a bit shy, but defends good enough to just keep the position. And yeah, I've been just checking the lap times, and it's very difficult to see Rorschach lap times because he had to cut the last lap as well. But they're racing 7/10 slower a lap than what Mike is doing, and that's big time. That's really big time. They're already trailing 5.4 seconds from the leader with 8 laps or just done. This is a big gap. Unless Micah has a huge drop, I think he's in an insane position to take this race win, even in lap 8 of 35.
Yeah, totally agree with you there, Carlos. So we will discuss in just a moment. We'll see what happened to Turn Lure just a few moments ago on the recovery drive at the moment, and he's taking on Eric Brenna. Oh, there's contact. That explains it. Inside attack against 100-to-1 driver, and I'm afraid it went wrong. The wheels locked up, so Turn maybe called up for that, as it was his responsibility to make the pass. He was given the racing line, but maybe just he realized too late he had to back out of it, and contact was made. And here's Davide's race ending via disconnection. So there is the likes of Turn and Eric, and then poof, he's gone.
Poof. Yeah. Yeah, that's well, we see that Brenna was on hards actually, so I don't think I will make it until the end. As we see Latinen just lapping Brenna right now, being very close to Rorschach. Rorschach is clearly struggling so much on this compound. Probably scheduling a fairly early pit stop, and yeah, for the moment, unless the finish just pulls an overtake, he will just suffer the pace drop they are having right now. And we see Saracino losing some positions right now. He's just trailing down. I hope it didn't happen anything with Brenna, because they were lapping Brenna at that point. He's without the front wing, and it's a very weird section to lose the front wing, I think. We will see a replay fairly soon of Saracino. Right now heading into turn 7, I think it is. And yeah.
Oh, it was. No. Gosh. Well, that's the end of Team Sheba's ambitions to become team's champion now. They're going to no-score race 1. Yeah, contact made there, just a misunderstanding between the two drivers. So Giuseppe by himself will blank unless something remarkable were to happen. So the 44-point advantage that Multiforce would need, or 43 points, that will already be earned pretty much. Should be as good as earned. So they just need to consolidate it in race 2, and that would mean half the work in the team's battle is done. It's just Apex GP trying to hang on in there for dear life. So it's certainly not going to happen just yet. The title race, as things stand, should last until Singapore, but a first and a fifth is 46 points. So that is very good. But the championship lead for the drivers, Matthews will increase it by nearly 50%. It'll be up to 29 points, which is a good buffer to have, but never enough to just comfortably rest on your laurels by any means, Carlos. So he's doing really well in this stint. 11 laps gone, and Pavel has reacted. Yes, good call, I think, just to try and force the agenda.
Yeah, I think it's a very early pit stop, to be honest. I think, yeah, if he recognizes that he can't overtake, and it will be very difficult to overtake, it's a good decision to just pit, do an undercut, and now later you will be on the defensive side of Rorschach and Latinen, and maybe, why not Hamming as well. I think maybe it's important for Hamming to react to this rather than Rorschach and Latinen. I think probably they already lost the position by this undercut, and you don't want to really react unless you think, oh, I'm not going to lose it. But the gaps were very small, and if anyone has to react to this is Hamming. I don't think Rorschach and Latinen should just react to this unless their tires are completely finished.
Yeah, definitely. Sense that's good advice, Carlos. I'll take your word for it. So it would be strange for all these drivers to react straight away. Matthews seems pretty comfortable, and he carries on a little longer. So it's up to the guys 2nd through 5th if they want to respond to what Pavel has done. and they've all decided to carry on. So the gamble, Pavel has to double down and just keep going and going. He'll meet the likes of Gretsch in a moment for track position on those fresher tires. Terence Gretsch, they're 19th, so he will be feeling the heat from the Multiforce driver in just a moment. Tina Curtis as well, she'll be watching to see what happens as she wants to catch up to Riboli and overtake him for 17th, but we'll wait and see until that plays out. So Michael Falkenhayn on screen at the moment, just for a brief moment. There's a look at Curtis. So yeah, Michael Falkenhayn in 6th place with his teammate behind his 7th.
For Pavel now, because Pavel was 1.5 seconds faster only in 2 sectors, but look at the cars that he will face now. Of course he will clear them fairly fast, but they are fighting each other, so he's gonna lose a lot of time here. It's crucial. Hamming, Rojak, Latinen, Tylin. As he goes for a dive, and there is contact, and this is important that you don't damage your car here. He will lose a lot of time here in the S section with the other cars just slowing him down. It's so important. Rojak, Hamming, Latinen, Tylin, Falkenhayn, they cannot pit now. If they pit now, they will land on this traffic, and it's gonna be horrendous. It's gonna be so bad. It's better you go 2 seconds slower a lap than just on this traffic.
Yeah,
he goes for the dive.
Oh yeah, he's going for it in the stadium section. It's the most difficult place to find an overtake, but he has done it fair and square. So I've just looked at Tina Curtis's profile. She races under the Irish flag as well, so I have someone to cheer for on a patriotic point of view. So Diagwich, Tina, I hope all is going to plan for you. So let's see how that goes. But Oliver Taras, his journey from the back of the grid into 11th place, incomplete, as Mika says, no way, I'm not letting that kind of overtake pull me in. So he's going to have to do a little bit better than that, Carlos. He wants the overtake. And indeed, Alex Gonzalez-Green on the high side also having a look.
Yeah, this is, they are fighting very hard and they are losing a lot of time because of this. And he goes for the dive here in the middle of sector 2 and just gives enough space to let him sneak the nose, and we can see behind there is Micah just trying to clear all this traffic that it has behind, and Pavel that has in front of him, and he's still racing at a very similar pace than what Rojak, Latinen, and we see Rojak just going into the pits now. He will land behind all these 4 cars that Pavel just cleared. If you're doing the same pace as you're clearing cars, it's just better to stay on track, because then you will have a better tire delta for later and better chances to overtake. I think probably the moment to pit, it will come fairly soon for the Finnish driver and for Hamming. For Micah, there is a fairly good spot to pit, so he's just clear if he wants to. He could just pit and be more or less ahead of Oliver Taras and Mika Hakimi, which Taras is just ahead of Hakimi.
Yes, and Patrick's pit stop is done, so he stays ahead of Pavel on his strategy. So yeah, the signs are go a bit longer because the undercut not working as planned. So now that you mentioned Mika there, or Mika, Carlos, he's going for the inside, back on Taras, and he's one last chance into turn 6. Wheel-to-wheel contact. He will say, I've got the inside line. Still going, but yeah, enough room has been provided there, so it's a fair battle, but the back end steps away on him. Mika has to hold on for dear life there just to stay in the race. That could have been
They're losing
awful.
So much time.
They are costing each other tons of time, and this is terrible news, particularly for Patrick on these cooler tires. They need to get up to speed, and he's going to be exposed a little bit until
Latinen is pitting, and Thailand as well.
Yes.
I think he might be in front of all these cars, Latinen. I think he might be
slow. Oliver a bit slow now.
I think he's doing a bit of a team job as well here, knowing that this is crucial for Yase, and I wouldn't be surprised if Yase is ahead of all this.
Exactly, this could work out superbly for Yase. I'm going to confirm now. The Team Iris is through. His teammate is through. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, that could have been a chaotic moment there. Pavel says, no way, Jose. Oh, there's a contact on Oliver Taras. He's picked up the damage that will knock him out of proceedings. I think it's the wheel off. for the Team Iris. The wheels are off. Taras is out. He will not be able to continue. Mika out of the race as well. A great showing for him. But there we have it. It's more misery piled upon Oliver. And yeah, he's had 2 DNFs in the last 2 race 2s after that 3rd place back in Hungary. So it's not been a pleasurable couple of months here for Oliver. So he's out of the race after that contact. And that changes the dynamic of the race massively there, as of course there's the contact involving
I think it was
Patrick
Rosiak, who takes out Mika.
Frank in the pits.
Yeah, takes Mika out, and then the benefit of this is Harmon. He was able to hold and to not take he just loses the rear end, and it just ends very bad for Oli and Mika, which it were very unfortunate. And then he had to defend from Pavel, but Pavel just gained the position on Rosiak, and now Rosiak will just need to make it again, and we don't know if that carries damage. And it's just incredible, the amount of force just grounding so much over the track. And we can see Falkenhayn, he's lapping really good considering how old the tires are for him. So this super duper high downforce setup is doing wonders, and at the end of the race this could just bring him a good moment of joy.
I mean, to have Zeeuw Esports fighting for honours like this, it is superb for their confidence at the late point of the season. They've been pretty regular in the points. The best was a 6th position in the middle point of the season for Ericsson, I believe it was. He got a P6, but nothing really challenging for trophies at the moment. So Michael could definitely get a 7th, I think, on pace here if he can keep this going. But Lucas Tylene, of course, will be in that kind of 6th or 7th range, which will play a part in the reverse grid. So he will want to hang on in there as best he can. A little slide there from the KKR Esports representative, watching to see how Yassi gets on. So on his point of view, is going according to plan after he qualified 9th. So to get 2 or 3 more positions off that would be brilliant to have.
Yeah, this would be brilliant.
Jesper.
Yeah, Jesper. It's a shame Jesper is not around, but yeah, they are doing a great job today. Victor Bernat already did the pit stop duty, and we're waiting for Michael to just do it, who has even raced in Super League this season as an emergency for Red Archer, and did a fairly good job for them. And yeah, it's one of the drivers that it's rising and starting to shine in GPV, and I think it would be great to keep an eye on him for the rest of the race. And this is opening also the question for race 2. He's been doing so many laps on the soft tire. Is it any better to do race 2 on softs?
Great question, Carlos. I couldn't tell you offhand, but definitely from the data from 2022, drivers would have gone 0 stops in that time. I'll just load up those results when they are ready.
I think any driver here is better than Owen McGaugy, Tom Stevens, Jake Denham. I think anyone here would beat them easily. So yeah, and yeah, they're just improving. They are demonstrating they just can do this race by a 1 stop. So yeah, just Tom is racing right now. Like Owen and Jake, they're already retired. So
yeah, the time has moved on from them. They are the past, and we're watching the present and future today. But Menno Clont, here we go. Another heroic drive perhaps on the horizon for him as he overtakes Gretsch there, and that is for P10. So Terence Gretsch just trying to keep his nose clean for the HGP team, and he's doing a great job of it so far, but Menno Clont knows what to do. But now Falkenhayn has dummied me there. I thought he was going to take a late entry, but he's still going. And yeah, this is all we need to know about race 2. The soft tires should make it to the end on that, as Tom Stevens, Frank Hamming, and Alexander Rogozha managed to achieve 3 years ago in the penultimate round of the 2022 FS1 campaign. But Scott Flack himself there too, he has the recent shine of race 2 victory just a month ago in Hungary, or nearly 2 months ago at this stage actually, with the summer break of course. So Scott Flack ended the summer window, or at least his winter window, with a victory, and he has been picking up points solidly ever since. But Micah is now through fair and square on his journey back to the top.
Yeah, and there is one thing I noticed. Falkenhayn is also touching the ground so much in the straight, just like Maltaforce is doing. I think they probably run a very similar configuration, but the difference is that 01 Esports, they are running so much downforce, and it's very nice to see that something that is common into two very different teams that is working, and at the end they use very different downforce levels, and he keeps going. He keeps going. I'm not entirely sure if there is any point to keep going like this, because he's losing 2 seconds a lap compared to Mateusz Majka, and I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to make all the time he's losing. But yeah, definitely, if it gives him any chance to try to contest for a P3, and this is the way, because he has the lowest top speed, and there are some speedsters gonna be in front of him, so you want to make up the best tire difference and maybe dive into the stadium.
Loic is having a bit of a giggle in our YouTube chat, and he says, Carlos, he's waiting for a safety car.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm afraid not. Well, yeah, nice comment there, Loic.
I think Macho will need to drive to appear a safety car, or Alex Leho, just a bunch of DNFers here and there, and maybe something magic, out of a bug or something can show a safety car, because there's no safety car in GPVWC.
Yeah, indeed. Certainly there have been the debates in the past. Certainly Brazil, the finale last season, where there was so much carnage, but the race carried on as normal. There was no red flag to restart the affair. So we do have red flags if it's really necessary, but that's only for lap 1 if my understanding of the rulebook is correct. Once the race is fully underway and there are no issues with server connectivity or anything like that, we just go from flag to flag, and whatever happens. So that's the element of luck. So we're watching from the back of Mateusz Kozłowski here in the second Nexium Pole team, and these points are valuable to help them beat Scott Flack by his lonesome today. Scott is on his own for Overpower. He just pitted a little while ago, and there's the reaction from Michael Falkenhayn, and he is comfortably P7. That's a fantastic stint.
Yeah, we need to see what's the gap with Thailand, no? Once we know the gap with Thailand, we can do an idea of, which positions he's aiming for, because the tires of the drivers ahead of him are 5, 6, 7 laps older, which is a very significant tire delta. We'll see how fast he can catch them, and then how he can pull some overtakes. As we can see, Gonzalez Green just going through a move on Tina Curtis through the outside of turn 1, makes it stick, and heading into the second longest straight in sector 1. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting how Falkenhayn does this, because before everyone pitted at the beginning, he was just right behind Thailand. He was just a few tenths, and now he's just gaining so much, and it's going to be very interesting how he's gonna do it until the end. Yeah, just checking his sectors right now. He's not bringing a big push, but he just won casually. 5 tenths on Thailand just in sector 3, casually.
Right, you are, yeah, just picking off the sector times a little bit there, so there's still enough time. Like, the 35 lap seems like a lot, but of course the track here at Mexico City is quite short compared to other tracks we have been to and will be going to at the final portion of the campaign. It'll be a 3-week blast in October to round things off, so we'll be keeping very busy for the month of October to round things off in GPV and FS1 this campaign. So Alex Gonzalez Green, this is really encouraging now to see from him. He's definitely had some heartbreaks this campaign beside his whole team. But Alex Gonzalez Green on course to score his first points since Belgium. So it has been a while for Alex. So Lorenzo, if he's still in chat, I hope this is a beam of encouragement for him to see his driver in the points, the last standing driver after Davide sadly lost his internet connection and fell off the server completely. So there he is in the chat. Lorenzo says, finally. So just keep it up, Alex Gonzalez Green, and you'll make your manager very happy.
Looks like Rojak has a bit more pace than Andrzejewski, and I don't know what Yase is complaining about. Probably not happy with the current position he is at, knowing that he was pressuring Rojak for a P3 before, and now he's behind. Both drivers, and when you are in the middle or at the end of the group, your chances are just even lower to overtake than the guy that is immediately trailing the leader of the group. So yeah, we will see, but there are quite some interesting prospects with the late beatings with Mark Falkenhayn. Also Stefano pitted quite late, Flak pitted quite late, so I think Menno and Guzovsky are maybe needing to start looking back probably instead of looking at the front.
Yeah, defend what you've got, and that's a critical mentality to have here, knowing that the title and all is at stake. You don't want to lose all your hard work. So let's see how things pan out. But Menno Klon's here. His job is to certainly pick his spot here against Mateusz Gozowski, and these two teams are pretty even in the standings, of course. Next Paul team 253, KKR are 359. So yeah, I suppose in terms of an actual head-to-head fight with the two teams, it's almost certainly going to go KKR's way. But Next Paul team have been keeping them honest as well at times. So Menno will try his best just to try and keep it nice and even between KKR and Next Paul team in this first race. So let's see how they get on. But Michael Falkenhayn, definitely the story of the lower midfield today. He's on course here to give Lucas, one of our fine drivers here in FS1, a real threat here, and he could pick a 6th position for himself, and that would be eligible for reverse grid pole if the right number comes out of the drum.
I think he's opting for P3. I think he is the pace he has shown. He has been almost 1 second faster a lap than the people who was ahead of him. But he needs to. We will see now in the straight if he's able to close up with these super high wings that he has. If not, he will just need to do it in a very unconventional way.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it there with Pavel a little while ago. He was willing to put in attacks in the stadium section, to name but one example. And this is the most optimal overtaking point, in my opinion, on the circuit. He's gone for the outside line. Lucas defends his inside into turn 1. Oh, the switchback is blocked there. Well done to Tylene there for picking the correct line to block. And he's going to try it again. So this is turn 4 to begin with. And it's still defended here, Carlos. So Michael's dreams of getting the podium, he needs to make this pass in the next 1 minute or 2. I think he's going to stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he has plenty of time, to be honest. He just needs to pull the move. That's a track limit. He needs to do something different, because KKR, they also have very high top speed. And if you want to make it possible, you need to do it in a different place where you can just throw off the KKR driver. Yeah, I don't think into turn 1 and blasting the push to pass all the time can actually work. But I think trying to do a dive into turn 4, which is a very unconventional, is probably the way. He's super close now, and we will see Thailand just going defensive now. And now that he's out of the draft, he's just not gaining any time anymore. He's not gaining time, and he's staying actually behind the KKR driver. You need to probably get out of the slipstream super late, and then try to make the move last moment. Now is the chance.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, he's listening to you now, Carlos. He's going to pick a spot now, but he has to be really late on the brakes. And we know Thailand very well. He knows how to overtake.
Ooh.
And any good offensive driver knows how to defend as well. And that's another example of it. So that's a chance wasted, I'm afraid, for Michael. And he's not going to get many more opportunities with these fresher tires, I have to be honest. So let's see if he can finally learn how to overtake Thailand. But at this sector, I will say he has lost a bit of time.
Yeah, well, he has more chances, but as you were mentioning, he needs to, throw him off a bit and try to make him do something different. Yeah, the discrepancy is very high in top speed. Just wait on the draft until the last moment and then pull off last moment and maybe do a dive on the inside, do a dive on the outside, doesn't matter. But you need to unsettle the driver in front so it has like problems heading into the next corners, and then you create, it's not that you need to make the move into turn 1, it's preparing yourself to maybe make the move into turn 4 or 5 or even 6, because diving into turn 6 you need to unsettle the other car before.
Absolutely, yeah. So the last chance in the lap before the stadium section to make the overtake would be turn 6. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So here we go. If there is a way to do it, it has been done well and has been done very poorly. I saw the clip of FS2 where it goes horribly wrong. So we're hopefully not going to see that in this battle for significant championship points on both sides of the aisle. So Michael will be watching and waiting for his chance, but it's another one that has gone to... Oh, no! He's going to hit the wall, is he? No, he stops at the time. And the advantage those tires would have presented have been lost. There's definitely going to be a bit of flat spotting on that. And the team radio straight to Menno Klont saying, watch out, that's a competitor, that's Falkenhayn slow. It's heartbreaking. He got done in a little bit by the dirty air and perhaps by pushing a little too hard.
I think it's a bit inexperience from Michael, but it's such a great prospect for the future. Yeah, it's just trying to make this possible, and here the dirty air is already kicking, you could see, and he does good that too. Yeah, it's a shame, but he was doing great in the sense that he was trying to do a slightly different line than the driver had to get less dirty air, but he clipped a bit too hard the inside curb in the next corner we'll see now, and that's what he makes him lose the car. There you go.
You're on right, yeah.
But he was doing that in a very good way, because you avoid the dirty air, and that allows you, even if it's a suboptimal racing line, allows you to keep closer. And we will see, but we'll keep an eye on Falkenhayn's tires, but I think he should be good enough to be able to sustain the position from Menno.
Right, yeah, just needs to put that behind him and just ease it to the finish for the current laps that he's on, and maybe by lap 33 he could get them back to a good condition, and then he can push clear of Klont. But the battle for the podium rages on, and Pavel knows this is a make or break situation for him, and of course Patrick himself wants to try and pick up more points to rise from 10th in the championship and give the Nexium Paul team something more to cheer for. Definitely the earlier points in the season were more thrilling for them with the set of podiums, and then after his time off he came roaring back in Germany and Belgium, picking up the podiums there. So Patrick, he is able to pick up regular top 5s and top 10s, so his chance to get another podium would be very welcome. But Jassi Lahtinen, for his own situation, 69 points worse off in the championship than Matthews Mike, and that's going to increase to another for 14 points or thereabouts, 14, 15 points. So that will mean Yassi will need a huge turnaround to become champion. But yeah, we're counting down the laps now, Carlos, and battles all around. Wesley Stefan, he almost did the same thing there as Michael did, but he was able to react in time as he tries to chase the other Nexium Pole team of Mateusz Kozłowski.
Yeah, Wesley was one of the last drivers to actually pit with a very unconventional line into the stadium, and we will see if he has the chance to actually attack Kozłowski in the upcoming laps. But it looks like it's paying off to actually try to go for these very unconventional long soft tire runners. We see Jasse Latinen super close to Patrick Roszak. Will maybe have a chance heading into turn 4. Roszak goes defensive. Jasse goes through the outside, outbreaks the Polish driver, and he gets squeezed. He goes both off the track limits. And this is just strong fighting, I would say.
Yeah, the elbows are well and truly out, but I will say that's a racing incident. Both drivers just doing their best to take the fifth corner there. But yeah, both were wide of the track, so I think, race control should say, that's both drivers neutralizing each other's actions, so we can just get back to racing, hopefully. Fair was fair. If they do that again, I'm sure there will be something said, but yeah, I think Yassi shouldn't be discouraged. There was a way through there, but Patrick did have a good defensive approach, and that helped him out. So yeah, Yassi should be able to have another try here and go for that position. That would be welcome for Apex GP, who want to not be stuck as second place team without a championship fight to earn. But yeah, it will need a bit more work for Multiforce to steal it today, as per Pavel's maths earlier in the broadcast.
Yeah, they are, just to mention, they are 22 seconds of the lead. The pace that Maika has set tonight is insane compared to any other driver. Nobody else is even close to Mateusz Maika, that has shown why he got pulled by almost 0.3 of a gap. And this pace actually translated even harder to the race, where he is just almost half a second faster than anybody else.
This is truly phenomenal. From Matthews, getting closer and closer to the checkered flag. Lap 32 begins. Another 4 to go. That's well under control. So we waxed lyrical on the broadcast last year when Loic Meunier completed a Grand Chelem, where he achieved everything from the pole to the win to the fastest lap to leading every lap. So Loic is in chat this evening. So yeah, Loic, your winning margin is looking to be eclipsed from that Kings Racing performance you put in last season. So yeah, that was about 10 or 11 seconds, I believe it was. So Matthews getting to 15 seconds in a 35 lap race, about 50 minutes total. It is truly remarkable stuff, and it will be one of the biggest margins of victory in a long time in FS1, unless I have forgotten someone else entirely. So definitely to win by double digits is very rare.
Yeah, winning double digits in FS1 is very, very, very rare. As we see, Kozłowski now is applying the pressure on Klont, that is struggling now. He previously overtook the Polish driver, and now it seems like Polish driver has they have a
careful.
small contact. Yeah, small tap from behind. Surely Menel liked it and enjoyed, but I mean, of course not. I mean, driving terms, of course. It's just like, now track limits, but it looks like Menel pushed way more the hards. He rubbered in those tires so much, and now, Mateusz finds himself in a good position. He finds himself in the upper position to take this place right now.
That's right. So we'll see how Matthews gets on here. And yeah, the turn in's pretty strong there. Scott Flack on those fresher tires. He went long in the first stint himself. So we'll see how that fares. Yeah, Mateusz Kozłowski's tires are 6 laps older than Scott's. Menno Klant's pitted on the same lap as Matthews, so They're on an even keel. Scott Flack, his last lap was not quicker, so maybe these two have provided each other the critical slipstream that makes a difference. So we'll have a look at a replay here of Massimiliano Raboli, who earlier in the race was a contender for a point, but I'm afraid he's come to a halt here, Carlos. Could that be a hardware or soft or internet issue?
He's low down to neutral, so it's weird. I think also something happened to Wesley Stefano, who lost about 10 seconds in the previous lap. He did a 1:33.1. Maybe we can have a check on that later on. But yeah, it looks like chances for Latinen are just shrinking every single lap, and maybe now it's his last time, but I think he's a bit too far away.
Yeah, just a little bit. So with the 6 drivers who or the 6 cars and drivers that no show today, plus the 6 retirements on circuit, means that 18 drivers are on course to complete this race. So it's about 62% finishing rate if you want to go from the maximum 30.
Ooh.
So meaning only 3 drivers will miss out on a championship point. Tina Curtis just behind Raymond Van Sus by about 2 seconds. It's up to her to try and change the narrative a little bit against Raymond and Emma's Performance, who are eager to pick up as many points as they can, with Wesley Stefano there in P11. It was a poor result for MS Performance in Monza. They got no points and they had one of DNFs when there was carnage. So to get back on the points and breach the century in the battle with 100 to 1, they will be delighted with that. So they will go 9th in the championship as things stand. Carlos, watch this battle. Did you see anything?
Yeah, well, I think Guzalski is trying to apply as much pressure, but Menno is solidified. He is as stiff as a rock, and it's very hard to actually pull a move on him. He's one of the most aggressive defenders that GPVWC has. Maybe he takes it a bit easier when he is on the attack, but on the defensive end, he doesn't even concede 1 millimeter. Guzovsky will try to go for the move here into turn 1. I think he's a bit... Oh, there is a yellow in sector 2.
Yeah, Saracino. I know he had that accident earlier on in the race, but he's out. Oh. He's out on the last lap. This is the final lap.
Guzovsky.
Menno Klant versus Guzovsky. Yeah, we've 3 things to comment on now. Oh, it's close, but it's fair racing. No contact, but the point falls into the lap of Tina Curtis now. She's got it. But Menno Klant want to hang on to 8th place because that gives him a chance of a better grid slot depending on which number comes out. He will benefit certainly if it's 6-7 or his pole position 8. So yeah, here's Micah, bang on time. Good call, Carlos. Remco on the cameras catches him in time. Matthias Micah is the winner here around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Brilliant drive. One of the most one-sided performances we've seen in a eternity here in GPV. Frank Hamming, great call to give him that 2nd place in the predictions. I know the win was what he was hoping for, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, you beat me in the predictions game, as Patrick will celebrate his hard work, but it's only a P4. But Pavel Andrzejewski, the championship slipping a little bit further away from him. He's lost 9 points, and Guzovsky spins at the final corner, and Scott Flack has gobbled up the extra point. Wow, that's only extra point. 2 extra points. Not
only extra point, because also having bigger chances to have a good reverse grid position for race 2. As we see Guzowski closing up the top 10 after the immense pressure he was setting on Menno Klant. Menno Klant didn't crack as a great defender he is. And then we see Stefano Bernat and Gonzalez Green closing the field, and we see a fantastic replay from turn 3, and we see now Saracino 8, 9, let's see, turn 10 and 11. Yeah, he was already sideways when he was heading into 11, and that just shows how he was pushing for little less than 1 more position. And we see here Terence just fighting here in turn 1 goes a bit deep into turn 1, and then into turn 2 there is the contact with the Griffon, and yeah, it just spins around. And yeah, that's everything for the HGP driver. And we see now Guzovsky maybe having a run on Menno. No, he lost it.
He hit from the back.
Wait, I actually want to see the inputs from Menno there, because I'm fairly sure he just did a bit of a karting tactic. Just come on, that's almost like a brake check, I would say.
He wasn't on the accelerator there. Yeah.
Think of that. You normally do that in karting to just park it on the apex, but if you do it in a very unconventional manner, that you're already in the accelerating zone that the driver behind cannot expect it, I think that's erratic driving.
Yeah, it's so tight though. You could say that Patrick was more aggressive and he went for the longer turn in, so they had better acceleration out of the corner. So yeah, definitely one to watch there. That could have been.
But that's fine.
It is. Yeah, it is really close. But yeah, I could definitely see Menno.
That's fine as long as you know you are not already in the acceleration zone and not accelerating, as we see. That's a very nice parking slot for the Malta Force. I'll say the results. Micah wins with a dominant race 1. Haming finishing P2, Pavel Andrzejewski P3, Roziak P4, Desalatin P5, Tynin P6, Falkenhayn with an amazing race P7, Menoklon P8, Scott Flack P9, Mateusz Uzowski P10. Wesley Stefano P11, Victor Bernat P12, Alex Gonzalez Green P13, Ryan Van Zust P14, and Tina Curtis closing the points in P15. Koenig and Terence Gretsch closed the finishes with Saracino, Riboli lower, DNFing, and then Taras, Hakimi, and Brenna finishing the rest of the grid. And I think we saw some drivers, just Zanini as well, in P24, even though it doesn't show in the standings. What an amazing race 1, but seeing this huge discrepancy in pace makes me wonder, would you, if you are Mateusz Majka, do you set the soft to overtake people knowing that you have such an insane overspeed and try to make it until the end and take a victory in race 2?
Yeah, I would say so. If he knows how to pull out such a commanding lead, I know reverse grid's going to be a little bit harder, so maybe he has to bear the first few laps in mind to complete that strategy. But yeah, definitely if he can pull out such an advantage with the half a second superiority, then I'd say go for it. But we will have a quick break though. We will be straight away into the action for race 2 after just this few minutes to rest up and restart with the cars and drivers. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. And you're all very welcome back to the broadcast here. It is the 13th round of the 16 race season here in FS1. It's Eoin Harmon here, and beside me once again, it's Carlos Martin, deputising for Amir Oates, who had the problems with his network. So, Carlos, the reverse grid draw has been made, and it's Lucas Tylene, number 6, coming out on top there. So, the minimal disruption to the leaders. So Maltaforce, if they want that team's championship, they've got a fantastic chance to do it.
Just a small correction, not on top on KKR, monocoque. The car. I mean, the Formula One seater.
Yes, the chassis.
Yeah, the chassis. I don't know what I made that. He's gonna be in a perfect position to contest for the race win tonight. And Micah from P6, he can be very, very dangerous considering all the pace he had in race 1. So I'm really wondering what tire selection we can see, considering it's going to be 24 laps. Not even Falkenhayn did so many in race 1. I think he did 19. So it's going to be a big stretch if people decide to go on the softer compound.
I will certainly endorse the idea of going all the way on soft tires if you have the certainly the time in the race to preserve them when necessary. But anyway, here we go with our formation lap. Hopefully the countdown will be merciful to myself here, so I'll lead the way this time. And it is Tylene who gets reverse grid pole ahead of Jassi Latinen, Patrick Roszak and Pavel Andrzejewski are on row 2. And Frank Hamming and Matthews Micah. Not much of a battle for the win, of course, thanks to Matthews' dominance. But we'll see if Frank can get a better turnover this time. Falkenhayn and Clont, 7th and 8th. Scott Flack and Matthews Gazowski complete our top 10, with Wesley Stefano and Victor Bernat, 11th and 12th. Row 7 features Alex Gonzalez Green and Raymond Van Soos, 2 drivers who'll be delighted with their performances. Tina Curtis, points winner in race 1, starts 15th, and she is accompanied by Philip Koenig there. Terence Gretsch and Giuseppe Saracino are 17th and 18th. We have Massimiliano Raboli and Tun Luer, 19th and 20th, 2 of our drivers who did not see the checkered flag. Oliver Taras and Mika Hakimi collided in race 1. Bit of an unfortunate incident either way, but they'll be together 21st and 22nd. And the 12th and final row, Eric Brenna and Davide Zanini. So Davide got the least amount of track time after an early disconnection. So Carlos will hope that Davide can take encouragement from his teammate and give an honest fight to see if he can back up the points scored by Alex and make it a really good day for Lorenzo.
Yeah, Lorenzo is probably eating his nails for the chances that are upcoming now. I really want to see the tires. I see Falkenhayn on soft. I see Scott Flack on soft. I mean, of course, if I knew someone would start on soft, it would be Scott Flack. Although it's not going to be as easy as it was it was never easy at Hungaroring, but to keep the position here, it would be more difficult for him.
Terence has telepitted. Sorry to interrupt, Carlos. Hopefully he can get back out in time.
Maybe he decided to switch the tires. We don't know yet. But I think we are going through 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we go. Lucas Tylene starts from P1. Will try to defend this until turn 1. Jassi Latinen is not able to take the slipstream, so he will be in danger. We can see Patrick Roszak taking some of the grass, and now it will be for Pavel Andrzejewski going into aggressive for the inside. Lucas Tylene is defensive. There is contact between the 3 cars. They go wide, and there is more contact here. It is so difficult to manage all these corners. And then Patrick Roszak goes off track trying to take the slipstream from Lucas Tylene, and there will be contesting for P2 between Jassi Latinen and Patrick Roszak. They go side by side into turn 4, and there it goes. I think it's Pavel, and it's trying to make Matthews just staying behind, but he's not able. Matthews makes the move stick almost through the outside. Will have the inside for turn 7, but he concedes. He acknowledges that the current points that he has from today maybe is good enough for the championship hole.
Yeah, if he gained 14 points, or 9 points, I should say, in race 1, and he loses 2, then that's no real big deal at all. He'd be totally comfortable with that, to leave with more points than he lost. But Tylene, to hold on to that first position, it's a difficult ask, but he's done it. And Yassi Latinen is going to try his best here to find a way by. He might be a little bit too early on the tires while they're still heating up a little bit. And yeah, he's going to just perhaps take the slipstream for now, but Tylene has to defend, actually. Oh no, he's misjudged it completely, and he brakes as hard as he can to come to a stop and not take anyone else out with him. But that was a misjudgment, I will say. He defended the line, but then the two drivers just didn't know where they were. That's a very unfortunate one.
I think Tylene just tried to go back to the outside, but Latinen didn't move because he didn't have
Tylene
to.
thought he had room, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't not in. This is something that normally the racing drivers try to do when they are on the inside. They try to squeeze back to the outside so they have the higher end. But if Jasse didn't want to, he didn't need to. So he kept a straight line, and we'll see how the Apex GP machine is in shape, because it was a very, very, very hard hit. It would be good to, now we will see it on the replay, and Lucas Styling just reversing to let everyone go. But, well, I think it was a bit of both. Was it?
Maybe, yeah.
Yes.
Well, Yassi was kind of stood still. He was doing what he was doing, staying in the middle of the track to make his overtake. And Tylene, he probably didn't realize what was going on in that regard.
Yeah, he moved to the right and then to the left.
Back to the left.
But I think Yassi was also moving slightly to the right because he saw there was a bit of gap. Yeah, I think it's a bit on both. Yeah, there is a bit on both. I think Yassi was moving a bit to the right, knowing there was a big gap, and then Tylene just decided to try to squeeze back, and then they just have this incident.
All right, well, Yassi will monitor his lap times. A 122.0. That's perfectly acceptable at this early stage against Patrick Roszak's 121.8. So Patrick Roszak wants to get that first win of the campaign, and he set the better time on lap 2 of anybody. But I suppose the matter of fact is, if Yassi took a hit on that suspension arm, he will feel it in this sweeping portion of the track. But no, he seems to be okay. So Yassi unaffected by that collision, at least for now. David Yunt in chat says they met in the middle without Malcolm. So yeah. Now, Frankie Muniz is a racing driver these days, so yeah, that's a good reference there, David. But Pavel Andrzejewski, no time for Thursday night television. He wants to get himself ahead of Patrick Roszak and improve his deficit to his teammate Matthews in the championship. It won't be enough, really, to limit the damage from race 1, but this will help a lot.
Wow, Patrick doesn't defend it from Pavel, and this is a bit surprising considering how, eager was to keep the position from Jasse in race 1. It goes again with the issues he had in race 1 with the track limits. But yeah, this opens up a good opportunity for Pavel to track down Jasse. That looks like he has more pace than what Roszak is able to pull. Maybe some drivers 24 laps is still like a longer go than most drivers had in race 1 with the hards. And we see, I think, it's Scott Flack having some battling with Hamming in the back. And let's remember, Scott Flack is on the softer compound that is available. Same for Michael Falkenhayn, who is also on the softer compound.
That's Tina Curtis. Pardon the interruption there, Carlos. She has made a mistake, and that's sending her way down the order now. Is she able to continue? Yeah, she's moving again, but there's definitely been a mistake there from the lone Hyperion driver today. A mistake somewhere in the lap, most likely those sweepers that claimed Falkenhayn in race 1, for example. So let's check the replay and see what happened.
Yeah, they almost claimed Falkenhayn. I mean, he was able to survive that like Jack Sparrow, I would say. Yeah, it's just the car gets unsettled, and with the bouncing of the curb, and then the rear end, when it goes back to the track, is just wheel spinning because it was in the air. and then you automatically lose the car into the inside. Yeah, a small tap into the wall, as we see Oliver Taras with the softer compound trying to make positions on Menoclon and makes it stick for now. They will need to go very defensive at the end. Oh, as we see one of the MS just going for the inside. I think it was Raymond who started also on the softer compound, just completely different compared to his teammate who started on the harder compound. And yeah, this softer compound has a big advantage right now, but we will see later on. And Falkenhayn is also on the soft, so it's a very surprising move considering that Falkenhayn had very good race pace at the previous race. I wonder if he knows that it's a big stretch to make it to the end, and he is preserving the tires more than the rest of the soft runners that are pushing right now.
That's right, yeah, it's a push comfortably on the soft tires at this early stage. Not a good idea, particularly in a tight pack as it is at the moment there with Michael towards the middle of that pack. And Raymond van Soest makes an overtake for P9 against Clont, but Matthews Micah wants to perform the same success against Patrick Roszak, but unlike what we saw a little while ago there, Carlos, Pavel made it look easy. But this second overtake for Matthews Micah, he needs to make it now. But no, Patrick, he's more resistant to this move. And his teammate, Matthews Gazowski, unable to make the pass himself.
Gazowski was defending from Taras. Taras was coming from behind and he was trying again a second attack. I'm checking the lap times and it looks like Andrzejewski is 2/10 faster a lap more or less than Jase. And that basically means that, yeah, you will catch up on Jase probably by the end of the race. I don't know if this pace differential will be good enough to actually pull a move. And yeah, I've been watching also some track limits issues in the S section. Some drivers that are setting 3 tires off track. So drivers need to be aware of this because they are in very small gaps, and if you exceed those track limits, then you can lose several positions just by it. Looks like Micah is not able to catch up now on Patrick. I don't know if Patrick now is just increasing the pace and deciding to use the push to pass to defend it, or is just Micah struggling under the dirty air.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest, what might be causing this fight. But just a moment ago, we saw the timing tower change in Michael Falkenhayn's favour because Menno Clont has lost 10th position to the 01 Esports driver there. He must have been on the start-finish straight. And that means it's P10 now for Michael on his gamble on the softer compound. Clont, at the moment, yeah, it's a personal best first sector there for Falkenhayn at 29.793. Now Clont losing half a second in that one sector alone, and it's not looking great for the Dutchman either. Yeah, Falkenhayn is fully unleashed now, and he's hitting personal best split times. But now, here's the chance, Carlos. This has to be it now for Micah if he wants a double podium today.
Yeah, I think he will make it easy. Ooh, as we see some wiggling from Patrick. I don't know if there was like saying no, don't overtake me. It's just stay behind for now. But I mean, if you have the pace that Micah just showed in race 1, you just go anyway. There's no benefit to stay behind Patrick Roszak and makes the move stick into turn 1. And now, knowing this, yeah, and then he wiggles back like saying maybe not this time. Yeah. It just shows you that maybe he can still contest for P1. As we see Raymond, who started on soft, being overtaking Guzovsky, who was overtaken by Taras some laps ago. And this just shows that even in lap 8, the power of the soft tires is up there. Maybe, yeah, they drop at the end and maybe you drop some positions, but Raymond was starting P14. He already won 6 positions, and if at the end of the race you lose 2 or 3, it's still a net gain.
Of course, yeah, still looking really strong. There it is, the position change data. Taras plus 14, +4 for Scott Flack at the top there, and also +6 for Hakimi and +7 for Zanini. Very good news for them. Tunlauer and the other Team Irish is doing well for himself, and he has +5, but it's -7 for Tina Curtis there at the back of the grid after her mistake. Notably there, Falkenhayn is down 3, but of course on the soft tires he could fight back pretty soon. And Clont, after getting overtaken by Stefano, he's down 4 positions.
Yeah, well, this is what it happens when you the soft runners just start around you. You lose those positions, and then maybe later on you can just make them up, and you need to keep on pace with them, make it difficult for them at the beginning. As we see Menno really trying to push these rears to have a chance on Wesley Stefano into the most tight section of the track. Well, no, the second tightest section of the track, I would say. Stadium is way. It's way tighter, although that... Oh, as we see, Hakimi did not finish for Hakimi. We don't know what happened to the Team Iris driver. We probably will see a replay sometime soon. And we are just loading into it right now. Heading into turn 4. We'll see if something really happened. This is a weird corner to something. Oh, yeah. I mean, teleporting to the other side of the wall requires some skill, I would say. It's not a move everyone can make, right? Like that. So, yeah, all jokes aside, it's just unfortunate for Mika that DNFs by a disconnection is probably the most heartbreaking one that can actually happen. Oh, and turn lower DNF as well. Double DNF for Team Iris now.
Gosh. Team Iris, these are critical moments in their campaign because LEF have double points now, and that should help them overtake Team Iris in the championship. Team Iris, one of our new entrants this campaign, hailing under a Greek flag in this campaign, as of course, yeah, Team Iris makes perfect sense through Greek mythology to have that name. But now the LEF auto racing team have a chance beyond all doubt to go 13th in the team's championship now. Davide Zanini looking to back up Alex and his work so far. So Zanini got 2 points in his second entry since he got the seat, so that's his contribution to the team. According to Lorenzo, this is his final attempt in the cockpit for LEF Auto Racing, so if he can leave the championship with some points. And turn lower. Oh, it's a driver error in the stadium section there, just shy of turn 13. That brings Turn out of the race. So that's bad news for Team Iris, but LEF, you can see in the chat there, Lorenzo says F yes.
Yeah, I mean, oh no, there is contact between Saracino and HGP, and Gretsch is they have just contact. This race for Team Shiba is not going their way at all. Giuseppe Saracino having an incident into race 1 with a lapped car, and now having an incident with the HGP driver. This is definitely not the greatest. And actually, Terence went for the overtake move on Saracino, and yeah, well, he was on the apex for turn 1, but normally you take a way tighter line. I would say you don't wash out the turn 1, so it was a very unexpected way. But yeah, when you dive this corner, basically you expect to go wide. Don't think it's Saracino's fault at all. Yeah, it could be a racing incident, or it's very hard to judge.
Yeah, but I suppose as we saw in race 1, there were some incidents at turn 1, and certainly if you're the overtaking car, you have the responsibility to say, yeah, I'm going to make my move and I'm going to do it as safely as I can. But if you realize too late that you've made the judgment poorly, you will end up creating some sort of chaos for yourself and your opponent. But yeah, the references to the McLaren F1 team and the papaya rules, where if driver A has a DNF, driver B has to crash the car on purpose, just to be fair. So yeah, those jokes were absolutely blaring out of it at the Italian Grand Prix in real life. So anyway, we'll leave that to this weekend for the F1. So yeah, definitely it will be judged at the end of the race. But Falkenhayn and P10 at the moment here, Carlos. Mateusz Gazowski will have to be careful now. Both drivers are on opposite compounds here at the minute, so this might be Michael's chance to have a little bit of a shine. Maybe he can gamble on a little bit of tire pressure and go for this overtake before backing off again and making sure he follows Taras, Van Sust and that sort of company. Let's see what he gets out of this battle.
Yeah, Gusowski is starting to lap faster than some of the soft runners, though. He's lapping faster already than Raimon, and we are half race, and we see Victor Bernat just going for the inside on the Elif E Gonzalez green, but doesn't make it stick, but he's gonna fight it back. We know that this 01 esports car have very low top speed, touches a bit the grass, will say maybe try a dive into turn 4, has a look at it, but doesn't go for it. And yeah, now heading into the very slow section, if you don't place the other driver off the ideal racing line, not pushing physically, just pushing, gaining the inside or something, it's gonna be super difficult for him to make the position.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's the nature of this track, with the balance of the incredibly high speed straights and indeed these acute corners. We'll now see another attempt. We briefly had a look at Victor Bernat in 13th position, but we now return to Falkenhayn and his desire to make the overtake count to get himself 9th position. He'll be on push to pass by now, but no.
Guzowski. Wow. I think this is like just showing, okay, I know. Oh, wait, he's actually defending from Wesley Stefano. Wesley Stefano will take just the outside from turn 1. He loses a bit the rear end, but makes it stick. Will try to go for the switchback, but he doesn't have the gap there to actually make it, because there is only one car gap there. It's maybe the time for the medium tire, the harder tires to shine.
Yeah, it may have been the tipping point here for Michael and those soft tires. It could be the data shows they won't make it to the end on this pace that he's been putting in, and the tires are screaming for a little bit of compassion. But either way, that was well judged by Stefano on the outside line to cut into the first corner and get himself the top 10 position. That's great news for MS Performance. They're on a bit of a comeback trial this season. They've had it very difficult, but ever since the second half of the season on that podium they picked up, that was massive for their campaign, and it's made a big difference to them after, of course, Viktor Ivanov was a title contender in the last campaign. But Bernat, can he pick up the pieces for the team with Alex Gonzalez Green on the taxi? You'll see the speed limiter there, 300 kilometers an hour for Victor in the slipstream, whereas without a slipstream, Michael couldn't even get 295 kilometers an hour. So that's quite telling, I think, about what happened. But Victor, he's doing everything he can here, using all the curbs there, but not able to make the overtake just yet.
Yeah, this is gonna be very difficult positions, especially for Falkenhayn, because when the tires are done and you don't have top speed, they will overtake you very easily, and we can see that that happened with Wesley. Even though he was very close to Guzowski, I think the ideal thing for him was to actually stay on the slipstream, to use it on your own benefit. And without forgetting this battle that we are seeing here with Falkenhayn at the top, Andrzejewski is almost under a second from Latinen, who is currently struggling in this position. We see almost a move there from Victor Bernat, trying to look for his best chances in the castle section, in the stadium section. As we see, Michael Falkenhayn just gives up and knows that race is probably toasted. Maybe he had a small chance to keep it in front of David Zanini, but probably it just feels, not compelling to keep going with these soft tires.
Yeah, and that's trundle into the garage, I'm afraid. So Michael will not back up his fantastic race 1 performance with a second collection of points. So he decides enough's enough. He could have gone to another set of soft tires, but he felt in his heart there was no way he could gain 3 seconds a lap or thereabouts to try and rescue the situation. So we now observe the podium contenders. Jesse Latinen, last lap he was slightly beaten by Pavel, but not by a whole lot. And if anything, Matthews was the quickest driver of the 3 the last lap. And again, the split times show very slight differences, but I think Pavel looks the strongest on the
Micah, look at Micah. Micah is very close.
He is.
He's very close, and maybe there is an attack here from teammate to teammate. He goes a bit defensive heading into turn 1. Pavel actually will not defend it, will stay to the outside, and Mateusz just goes for it on the inside, and Pavel concedes. And I think this, for the team's chances to win the race, is probably the best, because Pavel was 4/10 faster than Jesse, and that is very likely to be enough of a pace gap to actually pull the move and take home a double race win tonight. It seems that Jesse is struggling a lot on these compounds. We are not sure if it's a product of the damage with the collision with Lucas Thylin, or if it's just that the management from the Apex GP driver is not good enough.
Yeah, so we have had cases where a driver wins race 2 on one evening and then they win race 1 the next. Of course, Pavel is one such driver. Australia race 2, Turkey race 1. Matthews has Saudi race 2 and Spain race 1, just to name 2 examples from the beginning of the campaign. But in terms of winning 2 races on the same night in FS1, it hasn't happened at least since the days of TOP before they moved up. And I know you know TOP very well, Carlos. So
do I?
Do you? I hope so. Am I getting my facts wrong?
Maybe I get soon. So.
You certainly were our competitor when I was watching you in FS1.
Yeah.
So I'll get that one correct anyway. So NetRex, I believe.
Yep.
So, yeah, there we
that
go.
Was it.
Not totally senile just yet. So Maltaforce looking to defend their crown in the Teams Championship for the first time in their history. So 2024. It had Shimon, of course. It was Shimon who swept Brazil races 1 and 2 to conclude the campaign. That's it. The last time, according to my quick observation, that someone completed a perfect evening of racing in FS1. It hasn't happened in 2025 so far.
Did Shimon win both Brazil?
Yeah, both the Brazil races. Yeah, it was back-to-back wins. Yeah, 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. Then I have very bad memory. I remember I did double second, but I thought it was Moritz Kropp who won race 2.
No, don't.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you not checking Imola?
Well, Brazil's the last race of 2024. So.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring it up again.
That's very weird. You mean last year?
Yeah, 2024. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. You said 2023, I think, and then I was very confused.
Yeah, sorry. You're right. Yeah, I probably looked backwards. Yeah, I looked at the very end of 2024 and thinking.
And Hamming now is putting the move on Scott Flack, who is struggling now on the soft tires. Just Hamming goes through the outside of turn 1 and manages to go through. And now I think Scott Flack is somehow fine, as we see Guzovsky now being overtaken by Wesley Stefano, who is doing a fantastic race too, having a bit of an issue there with the track limits. He will need to go defensive now into turn 4. Will just need to do that to keep the position. He keeps very on the inside. Guzovsky is trying to outbrake the Dutch driver through the outside. They go contact into turn 5. I think it was very tight, and maybe Guzovsky was entitled for space. So yeah, maybe Not not at the end a super clean move by the Dutch driver, but makes it stick at the end. And maybe it's looking to catch up on his teammate on the very last laps. As we see Mike already super close to Jesse Latinen, and I think it will be a very easy overtake. I don't think with these 2/10 gap you can actually defend from it. Still, he will try. Jesse Latinen will try to keep the position. Mateusz Majka gets off the slipstream, starts sparking like massively, but he doesn't make the move stick yet. He will try to outbrake the Apex GP driver. He gets a slight edge into turn 3. They go side by side. I'm not sure if he left fully the track, but now Jesse Latinen is on the slipstream to maybe try and overtake. Will try to outbrake the Polish driver through the outside, gets the inside for turn 5. They have a small contact. Paweł Andrzejewski maybe has the chance now, getting into turn 6. Jesse Latinen, they're still fighting for it. There is another small contact. They're heading to turn 7. Micah doesn't concede this time. They're still side by side to turn 8 and turn 9. And Micah makes it stick now. And Paweł will have the chance now, heading into the last section of the track.
Tina Curtis moves out of the way. She was made well aware of what was going on. Yeah, that's absolutely incredible for Matthews to pull off the overtake. That lasted perhaps the first 7 corners, like it was pretty much side by side for the first 7 corners, and that last turn 8 and 9 helped Matthews deliver that critical moment in his campaign. The points are flowing in now for the championship leader. This another 20 to his collection to make it the maximum 50, and Paweł Andrzejewski will fall a full race, 1 win behind. Oh, he's doing his best. What a late lunge that is. Brilliant from Paweł, but yes, he's got the block in time. A little bit of contact, but I think it's okay.
Wow, that was a late defensive move as well from Jesse. I'm not sure if it was a late defensive move or Paweł just got out of the way very late. It looked like it was more on Jesse's side. But yeah, it looks like Jesse's now really struggling because Mateusz was able to open a second just in sector 3 alone, and he didn't get any kind of slipstream. Yeah, I think Jesse just defended a bit too late, doing a bit of a reactionary move to the Polish driver, and then loses the rear end of his Malta Force machinery, trying to lock the P1 and P2 for Malta Force in race 2. And yeah, here I think we will see the reactive move and then the contact, and this is not allowed by the regulations. You can defend but not doing a reactionary move. So now I think Jesse needs to start thinking who is behind, and he clearly doesn't have the pace right now.
No, it's looking like Jesse's bid to win the race has come to an end, but it is a double DNF, I'm afraid, for Davide Zanini. He was in contention for the points, but he has lost connection for the second time this evening. So LEF lose out on their double point score. Gonzalez Green will do his utmost to try and help the team because they need to beat Team Iris after they have lost both the cars. But it means on the other side of the coin, HGP and Terence Gretsch has the final point. So that's good for Terence on his first appearance since I've noticed him. So great conclusion to his work if he can complete this score in the next 3 laps. But now Patrick Roszak gave him my blessing in race 1. Didn't quite get the podium in the end. But now his chance to get this podium, it's as close as it's going to be. If it doesn't happen now, Frank Hamming will say, this is my opportunity instead, Patrick. Get out of my way. So let's see what will happen as this dilemma is going to be solved one way or the other in the next few minutes.
Yeah, there's going to be a huge amount of action right now, and we can see Hamming also having a chance maybe now to make the overtake stick. So now the issue for Patrick is that he cannot only look behind because he is being held by Jesse Latinen, and he needs to look back as well. So this is not going to be easy for either of them. Jesse Latinen taking the inside, trying to defend as much as he can, and then he goes for the switchback in the last moment. He just tricks Jesse Latinen into going for the outside and makes the move stick. What a wonderful move. Although all these track extensions, maybe the DC will have a word of that. Now Hamming maybe going for a launch into the inside. He goes there, he stops the car very soon, and Jesse just goes too deep and makes the position stick. Frank Hamming, what a move by the Dutch driver that now he's eyeing for the podium.
Yeah, we may need support from the mathematicians here because Malta Force GP are so close. I think it could be just a matter of 5 points or thereabouts that they will win the team's championship tonight. They need a little bit more of a swing to guarantee it, as Latinen is starting to fall off from the lead down to 5th in the final stretch of the race. But Alex Gonzalez-Green, let's give him the credit here as he's holding on to P10 with all he's got. But of course, he has a little bit of time to overtake
He's contesting
Raymond.
for more.
Yes, exactly.
For more.
Yeah,
so Raymond is on soft. Yeah, Raymond is on soft, so there is a lot of chances here for all these drivers if they play their cars correctly.
Final lap begins for race leader Micah en route to race 1 and race 2 sprint or feature and sprint double. Beg your pardon there, Carlos. But yeah, Victor Burnett in the back end of that battle still has belief. But Frank Hamming, oh, here's our predicted race 1 winners going hammer and tong for the final podium place.
Yeah, he will try to commit the outside, but then he doesn't go for it. Will try the switchback, double switchback. There is a small contact as there is a lot of fighting here. Will try to go for the inside. There's not much space, has better traction. They touch. They're heading into turn 7. They will go side by side in this area, but Frank Hamming concedes. Maybe has a small chance heading into the stadium. There is a huge gap between them. There is a 6-second gap between those drivers and the Malta Force drivers. Maybe he's too far back to actually make the move stick. As we see, Mateusz Majka will win, will have a double race win tonight here at Mexico. What a performance for the Polish driver who is confirming that he is the championship leader tonight. Malta Force almost do a perfect Grand Prix, and we can see a lot of things happening. Stefano is very close to Taras as well. Hamming doesn't make it. Wesley Stefano maybe something happened. Everyone was very close to Stefano.
Yeah, we had trouble for Raymond van Soest in the MS performance car. He fell from 9th to 13th, I believe. So that's absolute manic ending there. We'll need a replay, Remco, in a few moments when you're ready, please. There's just utter delirium here. LEF need to know what happened for the sake of the championship. Yeah, Raymond into turns 5 and 6, contact with Alex, and then on the other end, that's Burnett through. Burnett got through, and Raymond has fallen the hardest there with the grass. So there we go. There'll be a little bit of partying, I'm sure, if the result is
he was pushed
verified.
From behind,
yeah, it's a bit of a push. Yeah, that could be penalised. There's a look. Yeah, wheel to wheel. That's fair. That's fair. The wheel to wheel's fair. But then the push, a little bit of contact from the 01 Esports. Yeah,
I think it was in turn 5.
Turn
because
5 to 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this opened up the chance to there you go. It was by the Iliev actually. Then he was not given the gap, and there was multiple contacts there, and it's unfortunate because Raymond was doing one of the best races he has had so far this year, and probably it's a bit unfortunate for him, but it's still a really nice chance and an attempt for him. But what a performance by Malta Force tonight.
For 100% certainty, we've had the champions elect absolutely nail the performances tonight. Mateusz Majka, congratulations on the feature and sprint double. There was just no stopping him whatsoever, and he can pull off some donuts now before going to the special podium area. Pavel Andrzejewski's doing his level best, but today wasn't his day. But he'll be content that the championship lead loss is at about 17 points. So he still has a chance. Bad day in Singapore, for example, could give Pavel a way back into the championship. So that's important. But Patrick Roszak, well done to him. He gets his podium in that duel with Frank Hamming. That was very, very close. Respect to both those drivers. Yassi Latinen, again, just so unlucky at times this season. He was leading after Tyleen's collision at the start of the race. He had the lead for so long, but then his tyres just gave up, I think. Scott Flack, just keeping his head down, gets the sole overpower in 6th. Then Taras, Stefano, Gonzalez Green, and Gazowski complete the top 10. Victor Bernat, despite looking good for a big result after those 5 cars were going head-to-head in turns 5 and 6, he actually ends up 11th. Menno Klont tried his best as well in 12th, and Van Soest on the grass in that contact fell to 13th. Very unlucky to say the least. Terence Gretsch gets 2 points for HTP and himself. Philip Koenig picks up 15th and the final point. Eric Brenna, the first driver to miss out on a point. Tina Curtis, she was the final finisher today. She was a lap down, as well as Eric, in fairness to both of them. Davide Zanini really unlucky with another disconnection, so that does spoil LEF's ecstasy for a little bit there. Giuseppe Saracino, tough performances for him. It's gone wrong for him tonight, unfortunately, in the lone Team Shiba, so they can't win the team championship anymore. And then another retirement. There was Michael Falkenhayn, who withdrew by seeing his soft tires just burn out too much. Team Iris, just to quickly summarize there at the end, Team Iris lost both cars there, Toon and Mika, out of the race. Tyleen, as a result of that contact, going for the race lead, he DNF'd, and then Raboli disconnected quite early as well. So I'm afraid a lot of cars failing to see the checkered flag tonight, Carlos, but dominance from Altforce is definitely the top story.
Of course, but not only tonight. The whole season they have been the top story, and they did such a strong start of the season, and then some teams were able to catch up, and they demonstrate why it's so important to keep strong from race 1 to race 16. This championship doesn't end after 2 or 3 races. Next upcoming, we have the Singapore Grand Prix, which is going to be an interesting race, especially because overtaking opportunities are especially lacking, and it will be a very important track to qualifying on, a bit of the opposite of what we have seen tonight.
Yeah, indeed. In terms of overtaking, the Drivers' Championship was almost decided last season at Singapore when Mike Quint overtook Victor Ivanov on the last lap in the final DRS zone, as it was then. There was a chance to use DRS in 2024, but not anymore. So he went for the move. We thought he won it on circuit, but the race control saw the overtake was unsporting, so they deducted a few seconds from Mike, which gave Victor just 2 more weeks before he officially lost the title to Mike. So that was one example that shows how difficult it is, not only just to create an overtaking opportunity, but to actually pull it off without breaking any rules. So that is the big dilemma, as Singapore has so many tricky and treacherous spots. Everyone has to remain calm as best as they possibly can. And then Brazil will be the penultimate round of the championship this season, which allows for Abu Dhabi to fill in the slot on October 30th. So 3 rounds to complete for the end of the season in the month of October. And we will definitely be tuning in for that final stretch, where Matthews Micah will have a little bit of control in the championship, but we don't know for sure if he can continue this sparkling form with the 1 and 2 wins. So enough of rambling. It's time to let the drivers speak for themselves in the interview segment.
We have Micah ready, and I think he's best choice to have an interview. What do you think?
The undisputed number 1 choice, I agree.
And let's wrap Jason as well.
Yeah, let's have a chat. Hello, Matthews and Jason. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes.
Hi there. Welcome on in.
I think we should wait for Pavel also.
Oh yeah, we can
I don't
wait for Pavel.
know where he is, but
He was there a
was-
moment ago, yeah.
Yeah. I want to do it with him, I think.
I understand, yeah. So, Jason, just a few words. How does that feel? You're almost champion, I think. I'm not quite team's champion yet, but you're nearly there for the double. There he is. Okay.
Yes, fantastic result. First time this season for a driver to get 2 wins. Mateus, fantastic job. Pavel also doing great job. He worked really hard on the setup in the last 2 weeks, and I think it showed really well in this round. Both drivers worked really well together throughout the season, so I'm very happy.
Well, you should be, Jason. But now we'll hear from the sweeping winner today, the feature and the sprint, Matthews. The fact that you got the run to the start was absolutely extraordinary in race 1. You're off the line like a light, and you dominated, to be honest, about 16, 17 seconds. So how on earth did you pull that off?
Interesting thing is that I don't know.
Yeah, it's just you're in the
be
flow.
honest,
So.
I went home yesterday from the vacation trip and started practicing today. Just do 1 race simulation, maybe 10 quali laps, and the base went from, I don't know, somewhere. Big shout out to Pavel because he prepared the car for us for today, and it was suiting me very well. But yeah, it's great, but I need to check where that came from because after the quali, after the race 1, I was in shock that I have so much strong pace and advantage.
Yeah, by all means, but of course, reverse grid, perhaps getting the 6th place driver Tylene to come out of the hat. It's possible that helped you out because you were starting 6th place yourself. So I suppose you would have seen Lucas's crash at the start, but as the race played out, Yassi lost his performance, and then you went head to head with him and Pavel for the win. So what was on your mind when the time to strike came for you?
I was waiting for a good moment, not trying to overreact and push a little bit early, because the races today was very long. Even the second race was very long, and we have to manage the tires more than in the other sprints. So I was just driving my best not to overcook the tires, and when there was a place to overtake, I just go for it. I was not even trying to fight a lot on lap 1. I think we were side by side with Pavel for a couple of corners, and then I decided to back off because we were teammates and there was too much risk, and it went well for me. I think that there's a part that was not working from my side earlier in the season. In the center of the season, there was a problem with the second racer, so homework is done from my side.
Yeah, the final assignment is almost here, but we will now pass the microphone over to Pavel for just a moment, and I don't mean to disturb your fresh pivo there, Pavel. I hope you're going to enjoy that in just a moment, but from your perspective, I suppose there are more positives and the negatives, but I want to just talk to you about your race 1 strategy, where you pitted the earliest out of the contenders. So what was the logic behind that?
The clear logic was that I had no top speed on the straights. So even though if I had maybe good exit on Yassi, maybe even if I was really good in second sector, then it didn't pay off on the straights at all. The toll that Yassi got on Patrick plus push to pass was for me just a little bit too much to think of any overtake, any chance to get them. So, like for a year and a half since I'm racing in FS1, the only strategy to overtake guys when you are slower on straights is to undercut them. It was a late call. It was a very brave call because I haven't done this many laps on hards until now on this track. So I'm happy that it paid off. It was really close. It was really hot and sweaty from my side, especially when I had to go through the field and then guys appearing, coming out of the pit lane. Fortunately, I wasn't in any of the crashes that were happening all around me because I saw that Patrick went a little bit too much on the braking while fighting Oliver Taras, and then they got crashed with Mika Hakimi, unfortunately taking Hakimi and Oliver out of the races. But after that, after I got past Patrick, I was having to save those tires pretty extensively because it was in really bad shape. And in the end, actually, I had finished the race with kind of the same tire wear as Mateusz did on the first race, while he was clearly uncomfortable at the lead. But the job had to be done, and there was no another resolution than trying to keep to this position.
Very good, Pavel. Thanks for that. Carlos, do you have any questions for our Multiforce trio?
I mean, the questions should be for the rest of the field because the difference of pace tonight was just absolutely in another galaxy. Just hats off to all of you. You guys are doing not just tonight. You're doing a tremendous season. The only question from my side would be, will you be coming to GPVWC Day that this time is in the UK? I know you both came last time. It was in Warsaw. But what about this time in the UK?
I am planning to go, but first I need to get my passport once again because the previous had expired. So tomorrow I'm going to the passport office to get new one, and then I will start booking the trip because I haven't been to the UK at any point in my life yet. So I think that I will also take my wife with for this trip. We will go a little bit earlier than the weekend, some kind of extended weekend. Try to spend time and visit Manchester and Liverpool. So I'm looking forward to coming and appearing at the GPV Day.
Funny enough, I'm doing the same. I'm going earlier with my girlfriend, not wife, but girlfriend, and we're doing something similar to doing a Manchester-Liverpool trip. So maybe. Maybe we can write to each other to do some, 2-on-2 plans because these things happen. Just a reminder for anyone who want to go to GPV Day that is not from the UK, you need a special document as well, which is the ETA or ESTA. One of those. Just make sure everyone who is coming to GPV Day that is not from the UK to get those documents, and so there is no problems when you go to the airport to go crossing the board. And what about you, Mateusz?
I didn't decide it yet. I'm thinking about it, so I can say I think
you have at least a team's trophy to live. At least the other one is yet to be decided. But team's trophy, I think it's pretty much on the way, on the making. I think already. Some of the management are already ordering it with the Malta Force name.
We will see.
I think, Jason, you need to convince him, eh?
Yes, I will try. I'm also planning to be there as well for GPV Day. So.
The only thing I hope for this year is that there is ballast for the karting this year.
I suppose we'll let our victorious drivers go for this evening. So, Mateusz, Pavel, and Jason, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Good night.
See ya.
Night.
Take care. Lorenzo was first in the queue, so we'll let him in next if that's all right with him. So let's have a word with Lorenzo. Good evening, Lorenzo. Can you hear us? Anyone there? Give him another 10 seconds, or else we'll. Oh, here we are. Okay. So yeah, I'll wait for Lorenzo for just another moment. But Carlos, thank you so much for stepping in tonight.
Whoa!
Oh, there he is.
Whoa,
There he
whoa.
is. So
Apologies, my
made it
internet
just
seems
in
to have
time.
been mad.
Oh, dear.
My internet just broke down after opening my favorited GIF tab. Not ideal.
oh my word. Okay. Well, there must be a reason why you want to look at your favorite gifts. Let's talk about it. So Alex Gonzalez Green picking up points in both races. Let's talk about which one was your favorite. So is it race 1 or race 2?
Do I have to pick a favorite? It's like asking.
Okay, well, I'll pick for you. Race 1.
Nah, race one was good. I will say one thing we've struggled with through the entire season was qualifying. We just can't seem to find any good proper qualifying pace, and that greatly hinders our results. But luckily enough, this race, this time around, we haven't really been involved in any accidents that ruined our races, and Alex was able to pick up good points in both races from that, and I'd say it was finally about time that luck went our way, sort of. I say sort of because unfortunately Davide's internet didn't want to cooperate, which seems to be a theme with Sicilian drivers in this league. But I mean, P13 and P9, after such a long time of just no points and so much like lack of luck, is great, and hopefully Singapore and Brazil and Abu Dhabi would pick up some more points and we climb up the team standings while we still can. I did say at the beginning of the season that I expected us to be battling for the top 7. That's just not happening this season. It's not happening, but if we manage to somehow sneak our way into the top 10, I'd say that we've salvaged a pretty good result from how our season went.
Yeah, I suppose 100 to 1 on 102 points, they stay as they are with just the one car active, whereas MS Performance did really well, so they should be now 9th in the championship. So yourselves have overtaken Team Iris. I have.
Have we?
Yeah, you're only 9 points back, and you scored double points, so I'm fairly sure they wouldn't have been able to compete with that. You've overtaken them, so. Yeah,
I would check on the website, but the website doesn't seem to be cooperating either. It's been kind of not working for some people today for some reason. I did see word about.
It's been a bit glitchy, alright. I'm almost absolutely certain you've overtaken them on points tonight, so that's great.
I mean,
news.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'd say you definitely got a 9-point swing on them at least. Plus your podium tiebreaker should get you above them. Anyway, Carlos, if you want to ask Lorenzo a question, you can, but otherwise I understand you came on very short notice and you want to definitely get your rest. So what would you like to do?
Just one question to Lorenzo. What are the expectations for Iliev from now until the end of the season?
It's tough to say. Seeing as there will be a change in the driver lineup. I did have a talk with Davide. I mentioned this to Eoin before the race, and I can't recall if he mentioned it during the stream. But unfortunately, Davide has been fairly unhappy with both his performances and admittedly some of the driving standards towards the back of the grid. And as a result has lost motivation to continue for the rest of the season. So currently only Alex Gonzalez Green is confirmed to be with us for Singapore. So I'll be working towards finding a replacement for Davide, who I thank with all my heart for the effort he's put in the races he did for us. Unfortunately, it didn't go as well as it could have and should have. But that doesn't replace the fact that he definitely did put in the effort to do his best for us. And again, yeah, it's a shame how it turned out. So, I don't know. Hopefully, now that we've shown here how well we can do once we're not involved in fairly stupid, to put it that way, incidents, hopefully we do equally well in the remaining 3 rounds, and whoever partners Alex, I hope that they do equally well, and I'm sure I'll bring in someone who can do fairly well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who you could pick up. I'm sure there are a few free agents towards the end of the campaign. Perhaps other drivers might take a step up from FS2. They might be willing to have a go now that their season's almost done as well. But yeah, I did mention Davide was going to leave the team after tonight. So yeah, I fully echo your statements that he's been a great servant for the brief time he's been around. So yeah, it's a shame he won't be able to feel the motivation to carry on. But yeah, I understand his decision. So full respect to Davide, and I wish him well.
Absolutely, and that doesn't mean that if he wishes to return to the team for next season that the door is closed, because I'm yet to confirm the lineup fully for next season. I definitely have no intention of releasing Alex for next season, and he hasn't shown no intention of leaving the team or the series itself, so I can already confirm with 3 rounds to go that going into 2026 Alex will remain with the team. But as for the remaining 3 rounds and for next season, the driver search is most definitely on.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure a few drivers with
On FS1 or any other category?
We have no intention of moving up to Super Lights or Super League, and no intention of moving down to Formula Sprint 2. So Formula Sprint 1 is where you will find LEF in 2026, albeit under a different name. That's all I can give out as information for now.
It will be FEL.
No, I don't want to get in trouble with the English FA.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, EFL.
Yeah, well, both of them are in some ways responsible. But yeah, I'm now very curious to see what will happen. But yeah, the LEF logo has proven very popular in its debut campaign, and it will be missed if it's not going to last the season. But anyway, I suppose we'll let you go now, Lorenzo. But do you have any quick closing statements?
Other than the fact that this season has been a big learning experience, as we came in as a team relatively late, and with my statements about where we can finish are probably a bit of more than I can chew, but I feel like this learning curve so far has been pretty, well, good for learning, and hopefully we can bring in some better results into the remaining 3 rounds and the next season as well. I'm not going to say much, as I know that Mr. Eric Brenner, one of today's debutants, would like an interview. So I won't take the spotlight from him much.
Yeah, understandable, Lorenzo. Thanks so much, and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, and likewise.
Thank you. Okay, let's ensure that Eric and Zeeuw, they don't have to wait any longer. Let's bring him in for a chat. Hi, Eric and Zeeuw. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Fabulous stuff. So, Eric, I suppose it's nice to meet you for the first time. I know from your record you participated on Tuesday in this race, if I'm not mistaken. So, how was the step up to FS1?
Well, it was noticeable. The car is a lot faster and it handles differently, so that was definitely something to adapt to.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a handful, but you're braver than me. I've never driven any kind of GPV car. I'm just here for the broadcast and the social media back in the day. So you're more courageous than I am. But I suppose you have seen some of the very best in our category go out and drive as well. So is there anything you might have spotted while you're on circuit that other drivers have impressed you with?
Well, the sheer pace, maybe. I know I might have not practiced like a lot, but seeing people just catch up like I'm some grandma in a wheelchair is definitely humbling.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, late in the season, some drivers will be as motivated as can be, and others knowing that the best they could do, particularly as a team, might be mid-table. So that does sink the spirit a little bit. But yeah, I really do enjoy your enthusiasm. So will we see you again next time?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. Do you know if you'll have a teammate? Because I know Owen Kvilhausvik had to step away, so he'll be sorely missed. Would be nice to have a teammate, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah, it would. I'm not really sure as of right now, but I will notify the people when it happens.
Fantastic stuff. And then Zeeuw, of course, asked to join in as well. So you were taking some photographs as well. So what did you notice in today's racing?
Well, today's racing, it was a bit chaotic. Of course, I helped Eric Brenner in this race. And, first race, when I saw Eric, one moment was kind of like a miscommunication, and it caused like Giuseppe and Eric to crash, basically, because there was a bit of confusion, of course, and of course, at some point it happens sometimes. Sometimes happens also, but
How did you do that? Oh my word! He did that himself, everybody. I swear to God.
Yeah. Well, it's something. But then race 2, it was getting better for Eric. He had a bit of he didn't have much pace, but he did show a lot of consistency on track today, and yeah, he's the one to look in the future for sure, in my opinion. And of course, consistency always pays off. Of course, he got a bit lucky with some cars retiring, but most of the times consistency works in racing. But either way, I'd say it was a decent first weekend for him in the FS1 as well. And yeah, pretty decent race. And of course, I do want to be his teammate, but unfortunately I can't.
That's a shame. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, there'll be other drivers, I'm sure, hanging around, hoping to pick up a vacancy, particularly as we had 6 cars unable to drive today. A few drivers, as well as Eric, had to perform as a solo act. So yeah, definitely wasn't an easy task to be in by yourself by any means, Eric. But yeah, to have a sport like Zeeuw, that's very good. But yeah, race 2, you got to the checkered flag 1 lap down, but that's still highly respectable, I will say. Oh, no, you weren't. Sorry, race 2, you weren't lapped. Sorry.
No. I just got super unlucky in round 1. I mean, lap 1. Race 1. I mean, holy. No, not in the right state of mind right now. I'm tired. Well, I had some contact with, I don't remember his name now, but I tried to give him space. I tried to give him space on the inside. Yeah, and what happened was he locked up and didn't have anywhere to go, and then he slid into me. So I got some damage, and then I had a skin issue later on, which lost me a front wing, so I had to pit before everyone else, and of course that led to me being lapped. And I'm not really familiar with being lapped, so I tried to get the best out of the situation, but it was just misunderstandings, and then I got collected by Giuseppe. So, and in R2, I just tried to stay calm, tried to be as consistent as possible. Of course, having Curtis closing in on me behind was super scary. And then she passed me, and I was like, "Oh man, come on!" And then literally half a lap later, she because of her tires, she spins in the S's, and I was like, "Well, now that's sorted, I guess." And then I was kind of in no man's land for the entirety of race 2, but it's my highest position so far, so I'm happy with R2.
Yeah, by all means, Eric, really good week for you, but more to learn, I'm sure you'll agree. So yeah, keep up the good work, and you've got the final 6 weeks to go before we conclude the campaign. So yeah, fingers crossed there's more in your future, and I look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.
You too.
Yes, take care.
Thanks so much. Bye. And we will wrap things up here. Carlos Martin has already left the stream, as of course, to come in with 1 minute's notice, pretty much, as Amir just couldn't sort out the internet for his broadcast microphone, etc. tonight. So it's a real shame that Amir wasn't around to enjoy us working away in the broadcast booth. But Carlos, really appreciate you stepping up. And of course, Lorenzo was a plan C. He was second to come forward for a substitute role. But yeah, he was probably happier to see Alex driving so well. But yeah, thank you so much, Carlos. Muchas gracias. And of course, Remco, Zeeuw, where would we be without him, as he's been working very hard on the cameras and the replays tonight. So broadcast direction there provided by Remco. Thank you so much, Remco. And for myself, Eoin Harmon, it's good evening and goodbye. But we'll be back in 2 weeks for the Singapore Grand Prix. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. So bye-bye for now.